Look, check this out. A lot of you would look way better, fatter.
Are we talking about people that are like bikini bodybuilders at like 5% body fat? Is that where you're going?
That's obvious. I think that's obvious, right? They're just too lean. You can't be that lean all the time. It's unhealthy. But I'm actually talking to fitness fanatics, like dudes that feel like they need to walk around at 10%, women that need to walk around at 19% all the time. I think, and I know, you're surrounded by the fitness space. You're getting all this stuff advertised to you. But what's funny is that, if you're fit, you got muscle, you probably as a woman would look better around 23, 24%. As a dude, 13, 14% body fat. And it's funny because when they ask the opposite sex, this is what they typically point to, unless they're in that space, in which case we tend to worship this.
Yeah, because it looks more healthy. Like you're not like struggling to get food in. Like your body's like just sits at that nice percentage, and it just looks like you're thriving versus like you're starving yourself for a look.
I find this a really interesting conversation right now, in particular with what I just kind of went through the last, whatever it was, I think almost a month ago or so, that I had tested my body fat, and I'm pretty good about like being able to look at someone or myself and guess
and judge your body fat.
Yeah, and judge my body fat percentage. It's not that often that, especially myself, who I've done that so many times, would I have guessed that far off that I was, and it was really like enlightening for me, and reminded me of something that I feel like I've talked to clients about many times, but it's always neat to see that unveiled even to myself. And what that is, and what I realize is that it actually had less to do with my body fat percentage, that I have a good amount of lean body mass on me. 180 pounds.
Some body fat on muscle looks great.
Yeah. And so why I like the direction you're going is that if you would have asked me even just a decade or so ago, what percentage body fat do I like my physique at, I'd say, it's probably around 10, maybe 12% body fat, somewhere in that range. And I think I'm the happiest there. I'm the most comfortable diet-wise. I like the way I look, all these things like that. So to have the reverse happen to me, where I've been training for a while, back in my rhythm, hearing from my wife, like, oh, you look so great right now, like feeling good. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I like how I feel right now. I'm gonna probably lean out a little bit, but I like how I feel. And then I'm like, yeah, it might be a little bit higher than that 10 to 12%. And I'm probably more like 14, 15%. And there's always a part of me too that kind of lies to myself. It says that I think I'm 14, 15, but I really think I'm more like 13. So I'm like already setting myself up. Yeah. And so to get the test back and to be as high as like 18, I went, what in like, no way. Because the last time I was that's the closest to the highest body fat percentage I've ever tested. And I know how I looked and felt at 19, which is only 1% difference. Yep. So it's not a huge difference body fat percentage wise, but I obviously have a significant more amount of muscle at that 18%. Because when I was 18%, or 19%, I was 211 pounds.
Oh, when you did your first.
Oh yeah. So this time I weighed 233 pounds.
20 more pounds of muscle, or at least.
Yeah, that's gonna make a huge difference.
But 1% body fat difference. But a significant difference in lean body mass, and looking at myself going like, oh wow, that's crazy. Because if you would have asked me, and so it highlights to me what I've communicated, I feel like, to a lot of my female clients in the past that get hung up on like what you were saying, this number of like, oh, I think I want to be like 19%. Like I know what I've looked like at 21 or 22%. I want to be a little bit leaner than that. And it's like, that's a better goal than I'd say a scale goal, like someone who says like, I want to weigh because that's a horrible goal.
That's right.
Right. But even the more I realized with myself, like even a body fat percentage isn't ultimately that great of a gauge too, because how different a 12% version of me and an 18% version of me can actually look.
Here's what you
based
see.
Off of lean body mass.
Totally. And here's what, so we'll talk just physiologically, and even we'll talk about athletic performance here, but physiologically speaking, so here's the context. You have the same person, both fit, both strong, both, good fitness, good, VO2 max, strength, mobility, that kind of stuff, right? We'll talk about a guy. Over here, he's 10%. Over here, he's 15%. First off, the 15% version is going to have better athletic performance. And we know this by the
better
data.
Stamina.
Better strength, better stamina, better resilience. This is a big one. Like if you get sick or you get injured, he's going to be more resilient at 15% body fat. So that's number one. Number two, his hormone health is better. It's more likely to be better around 15% than at 10%. A natural guy, and there's always exceptions to the rules. So stop pointing to the pro athletes that are genetic freaks, okay? I'm talking about most people, like 99% of people listening right now. Most natural dudes go from 15 to 10%. They sacrifice testosterone. They sacrifice hormone health. They sacrifice immune health. And they do sacrifice athletic performance as well. There's that part. Then there's this part. When women are asked, majority of them, when they're looking at a dude who's fit, they kind of prefer the guy that's like 13 to 15% over the 10%. Why do they prefer that? Because we tend to look for signs of health and fertility. Now, I'll speak to women. Again,
it's subconscious.
It is. I'll speak to women. Both fit, both working out, both, doing well. 19%, 24%. The 24% woman, and this is even more true for women than for men because their bodies are more sensitive to this than men are. The 24, 25% woman who's fit, healthy, muscle, the whole deal, she's going to have a better hormone profile. She's going to be more fertile, more regular periods, less, PMS symptoms. So hormone health is better.
Swings.
Much better resilience, better athletic performance. And most dudes would say she looks better. Mm-hmm. She's got the curve, and she looks good. And so what's happened is we've got this distortion because the people who are communicating health aren't really communicating health on social media. What they're communicating is a body obsession. And so they tend to present this extreme. Now, let's talk about general health, like overall health. For most guys, including the guys in this room who know what we're doing, if you're going to walk around at 10% body fat, you place a higher focus on your diet. Dare I say a slightly unhealthy, in many cases, a very unhealthy focus on your diet. You don't have a lot of flexibility. You're really paying attention to what you eat so you can maintain this 10%. 15%, you generally eat healthy, but you enjoy the occasional going out. You're not that dude that goes out that's like, no, sorry, I can't have, this. I got to eat this particular way. Same thing for women. So mental health in terms of body obsession and stress around diet is much better. So, and I just want to communicate this because now there are a lot of people that are listening who are just getting into exercise, just getting into watching what they're eating. And so, they're kind of aiming for this, what we're talking about. But there's also a significant percentage of our audience that are fitness fanatics who, women who think they got to get to 19%, guys who need to get 10%, and they think they're going to have this dramatic improvement in health or happiness when the truth is the opposite. You're actually going to sacrifice a lot of things for a look, and you're not going to get much in return except for a body fat percentage that you're seeing on a scale.
I want to add to that and poke holes a little bit in that study. And not to debate you, but to add to an even greater point to this argument, because those studies that take general people who generally keep themselves at that body fat percentage, the argument you're making is that most opposite sex likes the opposite sex a little bit higher body fat percentage.
Right.
And even that is generally speaking, because if you were to take, using myself as an example again, what I look like right now at 18%, I can show my wife or general population a 15% version or a 14% version of me. And I bet you if I put them next to each other and you said, what are you more attracted to or what do you think looks better? More people would say what I look like right now at 18% than what I have before. Even then. So even that doesn't tell the full story. It's like, and the case that I'm trying to make is the importance of building muscle.
Yeah, the muscle part.
Yeah. And
because that's the healthy.
Yes, and the little bit of a higher body fat percentage, and a lot of the research and the studies that we have. This is kind of optimal or ideal or healthy. Again, is taking a general population. I think there's a lot of people that could build 10, 20, 30 more pounds of muscle on them and their body fat percentage stay the same.
Which means they added body fat, by the way.
Right. And which means they added more fat to their body, but they added 10, 15 pounds of muscle and look better, feel better, more the opposite sex be attracted to, all the things, and not all those things are necessarily the most important, but it's like on all markers and cases improved.
We also have a brand new workout program bundle. It's called the Spring Bundle. MAPS Symmetry, MAPS Prime, and the Advanced Training Techniques Guide. All of those together $147. That's over 50% off. Head over to mapsmarch.com. We'll use the example of our trainer, Corinne. And I love using her as an example because she's perfect for this. She's on our staff. She's an amazing coach. And she took the big step of letting someone else totally take over her training and diet, which was Adam. She came to you. What was she sitting at? What was she walking around at? 18? 17% body fat all the time. Very lean. Okay. Not a good lean, or should I say it's too lean to walk around it, but this is what she was at. She comes to Adam. He reverse diets her. She gets her calories from where to where?
She was at 1,900 to 2,000 calories. We're at 26 to 2,700.
So look at another almost 1,000 calories for her diet. Yeah. Dramatically reduced her training volume. She's not exercising as much. Her strength went through the roof.
Yeah.
Where she's hitting PRs
weekly,
almost weekly. Like big PRs, almost weekly.
Yeah. Squats, deadlifts, everything, hip thrusts, all the big movements.
Energy is better. Every single person on staff is like, man, she looks amazing. She looks great. Went and got a DEXA scan. Gained only body fat. Her body fat percentage went from 17% to what?
19.
Still lean.
Yeah.
But she gained 2% body fat. Gained some weight on the scale. Gained no muscle on the DEXA. But she's stronger, feels better, more energy, and looks better.
Yeah.
So, and that's an extreme example, but better because she gained body fat.
Yes.
Now, and her fitness improved. So she didn't compromise her fitness.
Yeah.
Her fitness actually got better. That's an extreme example, but we need to communicate this because
nobody's talking about that.
So many of our listeners we have so many female listeners who are fit and they're working out and they're good and they're consistent. Like, hey, I'm at 25% body fat. I want to get down to 20. What should I do? And it's like, I can tell you what you can do, but the truth is, like, you're better off staying where you're at and just keep improving your fitness and eating with some flexibility.
Right.
And we get guys like that too. I'm at 15%, I want a six pack. Like, bro, you get a six pack, you think you're going to feel so much happier. You're not.
Well, it's not a performance advantage, like to be really lean.
No.
Like, it's just like, whatever is healthy and what that is for your body and what that consists of. And we have general ranges where we try to shoot, where it's like, this is healthy, and I feel like, I'm adequate energy wise. I have that little bit of a buffer. But I mean, it kind of varies, but at the same time, if that's where you start, you perform the best when you're in that health zone.
That's right.
And you stray out of that, above, below
to chase a look.
And then it's, you're compromising that.
It's funny too
I mean, Justin always is going to add his performance point. Yep. You're always going to go the health direction. I always love driving home the look though, because that's what most people are going after.
That's what they're here for.
Right. Like, I mean, what you guys are saying is so important.
It's all true.
But the truth is so many people are chasing a look. And I think that's what I want to convey so much is like, you at a higher body fat percentage, to the point of how you open this, like you would look better, fatter if you just added muscle too. And a lot of times you can't do that when you're always trying to be at this low percent body fat. We had a caller just recently and it's just like, and she wants this like 20 to 22%, which is a total fine percent to desire for a female. You can be healthy in that range. But I'm like looking at her going like, I bet if you stayed the same body fat percentage, which she was around 25 or 26, and just added 5 to 10 pounds of muscle, you would get the 20 to 22% look.
The look that you think you want.
Yeah, the look that you think you want. It has less to do with the percentage. It's that you're thinking about where you're at right now. Oh, I'm a little fluffy. If I were to lean some of that fat off, then I'd have this look. Well, I will argue if you just gain some muscle to that same, in fact, some fat could come with it too, by the way. Sure. If you added 10 pounds on the scale and 8 muscle and 2 fat, you would look better.
The definition
you would look the look that you think needs to be at 20-22%.
You know what's funny too about this, by the way? When you're a guy, you're walking around at 10% body fat, your face doesn't look as good as when you're at 14% body fat. This is especially true. I want to piss people off for women. You get down to the teens, your face does not look as good as when you're in the low to mid 20s. Body fat on your face, you got to have some. Yeah. And especially as you get older, where you start to look like you're more aged. They're calling this Ozempic face, or what's happening with that? People are just losing everything.
Yeah,
as they look old. Because why? Well, because you need some body fat, and some body fat is on your face, and it actually makes you look more youthful and healthier. And again, a lot of the messaging that we're getting are from people who their hormones are artificially propped up. So they could diet, they could do all the extreme stuff, get their body fat lean, and they're going to be great. The average person chases this number, you're going to feel like garbage. your libido is going to be down. You're overstressed with your workouts. You're overfocused on your diet. And to Adam's point, you don't look as good. Yeah. You're a little bit of a distorted view on yourself, not realizing you just don't look as good. And what's crazy about this, because I know I've done this before, is you'll have friends, these people listening have had this happen, I guarantee it, where they're getting really lean, and then their friends and family come up to them like, you don't look good.
Yeah.
But all they hear in their head is, it's because I'm shredded.
Yeah,
like,
it was that drift that you talk about.
Yeah.
And it really does happen. And that's the thing. It's the irony of it. Everybody wants to look youthful, right? you look older. Yeah. When you're too lean, you just look older. Yeah. Your skin doesn't look as vibrant and healthy.
There's a saying, there's a saying in, I think it's in the fashion world in Italy. So, and it's not a great saying, but they say this to their models. They say face or ass. And what they mean by that is you pick. Yeah, either you have a round butt, you have a round butt, either you can have, you're going to sacrifice one or the other. So you get too lean, you're going to sacrifice your face or whatever. So it's like choose one or the other.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So if you have the ass, if you have the butt, you have the, I don't know. Anyway, it's the saying that they say because they refer to getting too lean, how it affects how you start to look or whatever in your face. And you look older. But this message needs to get out because if you go through Instagram and you go on fitness, even if you go on wellness, which the term wellness has been so bastardized now, wellness is just fitness, but now it's packaged a little different. What I mean by that is all the wellness people now, they're still displaying this like overly lean body focus or whatever. It just now looks like.
You know who else is such a great example on our team? I'd love to. I got to sit down with her and talk to her about her whole journey and her calories and stuff like that. But I've seen her before and afters, and that's Danny.
Oh yeah,
like her physique, that
really
she's built. Oh yeah, she's built a total different physique than
she's so strong. She's so funny.
She's strong,
so strong.
Yes. Dude, and I like to ask her. I'd like to ask her what she can eat calorie wise today versus what.
But did she come from a place where she was like super restricting?
I think so. Okay. Yeah. Like and just it looks like a whole different person, like totally different person. She's so much more muscle on her body. And I when I talked to her when we were getting ready to do Corinne, I asked her if she wanted to join it. She's like, oh, not right now. I'm eating and doing this and that. And like the fact that she can eat what she wants and have that kind of flexibility and still have a physique that's like that, and I think so many people, women in particular, I feel like, where my female clients get hung up on this look that they remember having or seeing when they were at their leanest. And, some of them might have had their body fat percentage. And so they're either it's the scale or this body fat percentage. And, I guess the point I'm trying to make is we always talk about like body fat percentage kind of being this gold standard.
It's better than weight.
Yeah, it's better, but it's still,
you can still go distorted.
It still can be very distorted, especially.
Doesn't tell the whole story.
Especially for women, because muscle hasn't been promoted so much for women as it has been men for a really long time. So this goes both ways.
And they're also advertised from an image perspective or much heavier.
It's the fashion industry is really
the fashion, the fitness, the health, the wellness, like everything geared towards women is so focused on how you look. Yeah, and it's coming from these really body dysmorphic people. Unfortunately, they're the ones that tend to get the voices in our space. One of the best things you could do, really, one of the best things you could do. This is both men and women, but especially women, is change your algorithm on your social media. Like consciously change it. When you're going through and you're seeing bodies projected to you, pictures of bodies and how they look and they're, click on the 3 dots and say, I want to see less of this. And you have to do this every day because the algorithm's so smart that it'll revert back very quickly. So every day, just say less of this. I want less of this in my brain, less of this in my brain. And you would be surprised at how positively that impacts your health.
By the way, I know you actively do that.
Yes.
Like I actively like the things that I want. Like I go like it's like an exercise I do now where I will look at my Explore page to see if it's in my goal. Literally, my goal is always to be like all the things that I want.
That you actually want.
Yeah, that I want to be consuming, that I'm into or whatever, that I think is, give healthier or better, right? For whatever reason. You actually go and click on it and then say, show me less of this.
Yes.
Where do you see, where is that?
So when you click, when you're scrolling, when something comes up, you can click on
the picture.
I think there's like the little dots. Yeah, the little dots.
Yeah.
And you could say less of this or don't show me this.
And so it's like literally in my feed, I have like I'm on Instagram right now. Okay, here's perfect.
I've done that on Facebook. I haven't done that on Instagram.
Yeah. So I've done
While you're seeing this post, request community note.
Yeah. So I've done it on X a lot because that's the one that I'll be on. And that one, bro, their algorithm's fast on X. Oh my God, that changes so quick, dude. Yeah. You will look at one thing and then you get 5 more.
I have a hard time with X just because it's so raw sometimes.
Dude,
like, whoa.
I forget that you're mostly on X right now. I'm trying to figure out how to do it.
There's a way to do it on all of them.
I mean, it's a good thing right now because I'm going through my thing right now. I've yet to see something I don't. Okay, here's
you could also do it with ads, by the way.
Oh yeah, I do that all the time.
Yeah. So
okay, not interested.
That's right.
Okay.
So
not interested.
So and now here's why this is
don't suggest these posts anymore. Don't suggest posts with certain words. Snooze all suggest posts and okay.
That's right. Now the reason why it's so important to do this consciously.
God, this post made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. So and you know what? I think that's the strongest one.
Seen.
I think that's the strongest signal is that one right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've done that. It's stronger because you have to like repeatedly say, "Don't show me this. Don't show me this." So the algorithms are so sensitive that it picks up micro fractions of a second longer that you hover.
Oh, it tracks your eyes.
Yeah. So if you're like scrolling through,
oh no, that's so.
And
I
you
know,
pause for slightly longer.
So your point. This is why I have to check back on my Explore page is because
so I always get.
I only like the things that I want fed to me. But even if I get caught looking at something for a minute, even if I don't like it, it'll still start to still change my Explore page and feed it back to me again. Yeah. So that's why I was asking you why, like how you do, because the way I do it is like I get good at just really liking all the stuff that I want.
But you also have to say don't.
Yeah. Because if you don't, it knows that you pause for a second. Dude,
it's bad.
It'll feed again to you.
It's a self-adjusting in the moment on the fly.
It's kind of brilliant when you think about it from their point. You know,
it's brilliant, and that means you have to conscious, bro. You have to I'll give you guys an example.
They hack your impulsive nature.
I told this story already, but I saw it. So my wife is okay with it, but I'll tell it again. So there was a period we were going somewhere, and I was like, oh, maybe I should get some sexy lingerie for my wife, right? So I went and looked up,
I've told you about this happened to me.
And so as soon as I did that,
bro, some of those emails.
So hold on. So as soon as I did that, when I would go on social media, you know the little ads that post underneath?
Yeah.
Little ads would post for lingerie, but they're like, bro, it's like, it's like a half naked chick, right? And I don't want to see that because
it's soft porn for sure.
I just don't want to see that. I've had issues with looking at stuff in the past, and so I just consciously now look away. And so I had to go, don't show me this. This is offensive. I had to do like 4 times before it stopped. Like I kept getting ads, and I had to keep doing that.
I've bought a lot of that for my wife, so I can't get away from it. Like there's probably at least 6 different brands that I've bought from, and so they've all got me. You know what I'm saying? Like they find me, dude, wherever I'm at.
Oh, dude, try to unsubscribe from those emails, and then you get one of those emails, you're like, wow, I'm into this.
But I tell you what, just for people listening, like if you have to consciously do this every day, but change your algorithm because it shifts how you view the world, but more importantly, how you view yourself.
Are you guys noticing with your teens any new behaviorals around it, like them organically, not what you're restricting or telling? Do you think that you're seeing a increase in their addiction to it, or are they naturally starting? Because one of the things that we predicted,
generally,
that this generation coming up is becoming, it's more common that they're like.
I put really strong restrictions on my daughter, so she only gets 10 minutes of Instagram. She has no TikTok.
Do you find you guys so what I guess I'm getting at with you guys, because you guys both have teens that were like a part of the height of this stuff. Is it always a battle? Is it something that's getting easier? Is it getting harder? Like what's it like managing it for the kids?
It's getting a lot easier.
It's getting easier.
He's a lot more mature with it than he was. It was a battle, dude, for a while.
Yeah.
I didn't want to give him a phone at all. But and that was like really hard for me to reconcile.
That was a mistake I made, was I gave my daughter has a phone.
Yeah.
Like my younger kids, they're not getting one. They're not getting one until it's absolutely necessary. Which I don't know. We'll see.
What were the two age? How early did you do your daughter, and how early did you do your boys?
So let's see.
I forgot. My daughter 8th grade.
8th grade.
I think it was 8th grade.
Yeah, Ethan was 13.
It might have been 8th. Is that when you're 13?
He was 7.
7th grade.
I think in the 7th.
It might have been 7th grade for me too, because I think it was around the same age.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, here's the thing. Ideally, in the ideal situation, if you can, wait, that would be.
You know what helps?
Well, I get what I mean. It's real easy sitting from my seat, right, to say, but I understand. And I can only imagine how difficult it was for the two of you at the timing of it is that because I already see it with my son's age, parents that like his best friend and we're really close to them. Like they restrict tech from his kid, or their kid doesn't get an iPad like ours. And so it makes it easy when the best friend doesn't too. You know
I was just gonna say that's the easier way to do it is if you have
cultivate the friends. Yeah. No, I mean that's what Katrina and I have talked about and plan to do. And it seems, and I don't want to say it's easy, but it's probably easier for me than it was for you guys when nobody was really paying attention. When everybody thought it was everyone. I mean, your guys' generation, or meaning your guys' kids' generation, you were probably told, if they don't learn tech, they're going to be behind. If they don't learn to use the computer.
We were the outliers by waiting for sure.
Yeah,
he had to wait,
right?
Like, a couple years to catch up to his friends' text messages.
You know what helps too a lot, and I'm sure Justin could speak to this. When they're busy doing things like sports and stuff, that's when they have nothing to do.
Bro, I preach that from the mountains, dude. I'd have to keep them busy. Honestly, idle hands, the devil's work. For real, whoever said that, that is such truth.
Yeah, it was said a long time ago too. That's what's crazy.
Who said that? Find out, Doug.
I don't know
gotta
who
be
said
some
that, but
philosopher.
And I mean, because even with my oldest, it's like, he'll do a good job with tech, but then, he's roaming around town and all these things, and it's like he's getting bored, and it's like they find their way into mischief, just and it's like now I'm battling that, and it's like it's just one of those things.
But you prefer that, right? Okay, so
I do prefer.
It's funny you say that because my buddy Mike, his kids similar age, right? And we talked a lot about this for the last couple of years and everything, and he's really active dad. He's into cars, always trying to get his boy to come do the car events. Kid's not really into it. He'd rather stay at home on the computer, the phone, or on the games and stuff like that. And he recently has got into those electric dirt bikes.
Yes.
And he's like hardcore to it, but he's like, he rolls around with a group of kids that are like getting in trouble.
And they don't just
the cops have busted them because they're like they go past where they're supposed
way
to
farther than we ever did when we were kids.
And so he's
because they're electric.
And they go 50 miles an hour, bro.
Yeah.
And so he's like so conflicted because he's like, for the last 5 years, I've been fighting to get him out of the house. Yeah. Now he's out of the house, but then he's getting to mischief. And I'm like, I think I'd rather have that. I'd rather have him learn the consequences of the cop getting you in trouble for riding that bike where you're not supposed to, and than the sitting plugged into a game all day.
Can we just say straight up,
there's always something.
Raising kids, especially teenagers, is hard.
It is.
It's hard, dude.
It's anxiety riddled.
They want the independence of an adult, but they have the mind of a child, and they're rebellious by nature.
I got this. You don't even know what you're doing.
Dude.
How do you
actually know nothing. You realize you know nothing. I love arguing with teenagers.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how early that is, how ingrained that is in. Because my son said that to my wife last night. Mom, I got this. You know what I'm saying? Oh, wow. It was over something, whatever. But it's like the fact that they already start doing that at
independent mind coming
6 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I got this, Mom.
Yeah. It's so hard too because when you want to tell them no, this is how it works.
Yeah,
half the time telling them is makes them harden even more.
And you got to let them work through it too. So it's like I've had to really check myself a lot of times with that because I will be try and squash his energy with that. Like, what, you don't know what you're doing. I'm like, let him figure it out. Yeah. Let him work through it. Let him stumble.
My favorite is you have one of your kids try to tell you, figure out how much it would cost to live on their own. They have no idea.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, if I made this much money, you would be able to pay rent in a room, bro.
I know.
That's why I really liked, what book was that I read? I wish I've recommended it on the podcast before, but it talked about the 4 stages of raising the kids.
I got to read that one.
The coaching,
and you guys are coaching phase, and really when you think about it, that's good coach.
Hey,
it's
bro,
like you
that's
tell
been
them
a game changer for me.
Yes,
you know that.
Yeah,
well, my daughter, it's been a game changer.
You're like a coach. You're not daddy mode anymore. You're not telling them what to do all the time. It's like, hey, you do this, this, and this. This will happen. You show the play.
Here's the potential consequences.
That's right. You show the play.
I'm gonna let you figure it out.
Yeah,
and we're gonna.
You encourage why they should run the play this way, and then when they veer off and do their own thing, and they get tackled behind the line, or they get hurt, or the thing happens, it's like that's why Dad told you this is the play.
It's been such a game changer for lessons for me and my daughter because I actually had to verbalize it to her. Listen, we're moving a new phase. It's the coaching phase, and there was a period there where it was like, is this actually working? Because But then I'd sit down with her and say, look, I'm not going to tell you have to do this.
Right.
Remember, we're in the coaching phase, but you need to hear me, because if I feel like you're not hearing me and if you feel like you're just shutting me down, then we're going to go backwards and we're going to go to the other phase where I force you.
Yeah.
And it's actually improved our relationship.
I think it's a great idea to communicate even to the kid, like letting them know that. I think that's I didn't know you did that. I think that's a great idea, is to be like, hey, I recognize that we're transitioning from me being daddy, tell you what to do all the time, to you want to learn things, do things on your own. And I can appreciate that. I love that.
The language is more like, might I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
That's like my new verbiage.
Yeah. Or let me tell you how that played out for dad.
Then go. I definitely gave him a lot bigger area that he can venture out and have adventures and do his thing. But it's at home, we're just like,
I mean, and we're also,
that's because you track your kids.
You're also talking from,
you also track your kids. Nobody knew where we were going.
I know. I don't. My wife does, and then I find out. I'm like, oh, what's he doing way over there?
Yeah. That's the part that trips me out, is like how much because my buddy Mike's, they have AirTag on his kid too, and so it's like, so they can see when he's going beyond where he was told to, so it's like this. Now you're challenged with this, like,
do I say something?
He's not. You know,
well, it only affects me because like then it gets dark and like I have to go pick him up in my truck because you got to take the bike and put it in the truck. And then his friend and you know, it becomes like, I'm like, look, you brought me into this. The whole idea is for you to have that freedom and independence. Yeah. You come back, you do the right thing, then you get to do it again. Now, you know, we're not going to have that much freedom, and you have to earn it back.
Yeah.
You know?
I think about some of the stuff I did when I was a teenager, like when we would ride off. Now, we'd have electric bikes, but we had a regular bike. But we would take off, and we would do things, man. I look back, I'm like,
you know, how do you guys both make peace too? How do you guys both make peace with this also? Because you also know that, so imagine you have the kid who's the opposite, who listens to everything, doesn't go beyond it. Because I think about this from my perspective, because my kid seems to be different with a lot of the stuff. And my fear is I also know that those traits that you guys both have and you see in your kids are also the things that made you great entrepreneurs and successful at life, because you are willing to stretch the boundaries, to think outside the box, to not just fall in line with what the other people say. Like, there's some characteristics that come with that.
More than that, Adam, when you look at the data on it, because that could definitely happen. But you know what the data shows more often than not is that they're going to go through a rebellious phase. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so if they don't do it as teenagers, then they do it in college.
Yes.
Or
I'd rather it be now.
Or I have a lot of friends like this. I have friends like this who are doctors. Okay. So they were very regimented, very disciplined, college.
Then they wow out when they get
and then when they finally are done with medical school,
off the rails.
Now I'm going to go through my rebellion phase. You're 30.
That's a recipe for Peter Pan syndrome, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like how that ends up happening to a lot of probably men that have
dude.
that. Now, so we're doing the perspective from the husband, right? I imagine this is even more difficult for the wives to let go and let and like
a lot of the risky stuff, especially too. And like it's funny because like I love it because he's back into climbing on things and you know, like he'll go on these bridges and things that are super sketchy, and I'm like, oh. You know, like, and Courtney will find out about it. But, you know, I'm just glad that he's adventuring and like being in the world and doing these things. So I'm like, you know, I'm okay with some of these risks he's taking. You know, that it's dangerous. You could get hurt and this and that. But so I would prefer that.
That's an example of where you can be more laxed and she's probably more freaked out.
Yeah.
Where's the flip of that? Where is she more laxed and you're a little more, and she's like, hey, dude, calm down. He'll be okay. Like, is there an example that, or she almost always that way and you're almost always the one who's more like that? And same thing for you, Sal. Like, is there a push and pull for you guys where there's certain things she's more laxed about and you're more like over, and she's like, hey, chill out, let him figure it out, or is it all things? Because obviously the risk thing.
I'm trying to think of an example.
I'll guess. I bet it's probably when you show a lot of anger, then she knows she needs to calm down. Mm-hmm. I'll bet that's probably when it kicks in.
Oh, when I'm angry with him?
Yeah, when you start to lose it, she's probably like, well, okay.
Oh, yeah, she calms me down with when it's like I use that as something to like capture attention and like snap out of like his state. Like, so I don't raise my voice unless it's like very intentional. But yeah, I do that sometimes. It freaks her out, it scares her, you know, sometimes, because I'll let that out just to let everybody know I got teeth, you know, and it's like, you know, there's consequences.
There's value to that though, too. I think a great way to communicate that is to when you do it intentional and you're detached from the emotion, it's a very powerful tool.
Right.
When you do it in a response emotionally is when it's bad, right?
Yeah.
So that's
remove the reaction of it.
Right. Like,
but that's hard.
Oh, of course.
That's
hard.
a discipline.
Yeah, no, that's
it's a discipline.
Yeah, no, that's a very difficult.
I think that I was trying to think of like an example with like girls in a relationship and all that. And I'm more like, don't even worry about all that. Like, that'll come down the road. And like, I'm not trying to like make it happen where he's going to hang out and go on a date or like, and she's all like, yeah, like how's it going with so-and-so? And, like she gets all into the relationship side of it. And I'm just like, dude, stop asking him about that. Like,
yeah. He'll figure it out.
Yeah. This is a distraction. You don't need this right now, son. That's like my energy.
I think you're right. You're the right one, dude. With that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's total distraction when you're a kid.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, but she loves the idea of him, having a relationship with a girl, and I appreciate that
until the girl does something mean to him. I'm sure then Mama Bear is going to come.
Now, are you the opposite at your house? Because my sister-in-law and brother-in-law are the opposite here. My sister-in-law is the one who lets the kids climb the trees, fall, bruise themselves, whatever, and my brother-in-law is more like boundaries, overprotective that way. You seem like that to me.
It depends. I mean, it really does depend on the situation, I would say. We have a different dynamic with the little ones than we do with my daughter, because my daughter's with us every other week. Plus she has her mom, who's also involved. So Jessica has a definitely a parental role with my daughter, but she's also got this, which I think it's an advantage, is she kind of gets to be the cool stepmom. Where she can kind of step in and have those conversations.
Right. She almost fell naturally into the coaching phase versus you had to transition from being daddy everything.
And then also just to, being divorced, having her half the time, like that causes its own challenges. Like, you want to discipline, but I see you. I didn't see you last week. And so now you're here.
A window. So
and like, what do we do?
Well, how often does that happen what's more like because you have that, since that's an interesting dynamic for me to ask about, is that you're wanting your daughter to explore something, or you're wanting her to fall on her own or allow it, and then your ex is like, no. Like, how often does that happen where you guys don't agree with like either restricting something or boundaries or allowing?
I got to be careful what I say here because I don't want to put too much out there. But I would say, like right now, we're looking at colleges, even though she's not going to be going for a couple of years. But I'm much more interested in the culture of the college than I am how cool it is or how nice it is or even what she thinks she wants. I'm interested more in the culture because I think it's super influential on a kid. Whereas, my ex-wife is more like,
where she want to go. Yeah,
where does she want to go? And this is a great college. Maybe that's the one she wanted to go to that she didn't go to. Maybe there's a piece of that. But so there's some disagreement.
That's an interesting one, bro. Yeah. I feel like you lose that no matter what.
No. Yep. Because I pay.
Yeah.
So that's,
boom.
That's a great response. My first initial was like, "Oh, bro, you lose that one." For sure.
That's
like,
actually,
I write the fucking check.
I don't have to. I don't want to pull it, but if I have to, cool. She can go to. She can go to that one
corner
if you pay for it. I don't care. She can go to that one.
Oh my god, what a good point. Oh my god, I was like, you think you're gonna win that one, bro? You're losing that one for sure.
I write the check. Bro. Yeah. So ultimately that's the trip card. I'll weigh all that out. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And it's a little while from now, so maybe things will change. But
that's funny.
Yeah, we're gonna go look at some. In fact, in a month, I won't say where they are because just out of privacy. But we'll be looking.
It is the time though, because my oldest is the same age, and he's interested in looking at colleges right now.
Yeah, but there's a culture on campuses, and different colleges have different.
Well, that's school in general.
Totally.
Yeah, that's cool in general.
But I heard this
I'm very
argument.
particular about
I was talking to friends about this, and I heard this argument like, there's bad cult kids and good kids in every college. Yeah, I know, that's true. Okay, I get it. You can go to the best culture, but still run into the wrong crowd. But the odds are better. Like, let's not forget, like, the odds are better.
I think as a dad, what I'd have a hard time with is if my daughter or son is wanting to go to school where like their three best friends or two or three best friends are going and they want to go to that school, even though it may not be my favorite school for them to go to, but it's where their best friends are going that they went to high school with and grew up with.
That makes a difference.
Because that would make a hard versus she's going off to somewhere where she's starting all over no matter what. And she really wants to go to this place. And I'm like, I don't know about Chico State or Arizona State or whatever the state is. I think I'd rather you go this
Part
direction.
of me thinks that's good for them though. You know,
It's also that.
I think, because I mean, for me, it was transformative. It was like, I think we don't have that rite of passage anymore. And I think if we can look at college as like maybe an extension of that, it's like you got to go off and reinvent yourself.
That's there's so much potential value in that.
Yeah.
I mean,
as
doesn't
a
that
kid, you could
but
totally reinvent.
I also think that has a lot to do with probably you both evaluating their friends currently too, though.
Of
right?
course, I don't want you to
like.
hang out with those
Yeah, I mean,
But I think they'll still reconnect. Like I don't know. It depends.
of course, my best friend and I go all the way back to fourth grade. So and my other one all the way back to ninth grade. So of course you can. So it's not, I'm definitely somebody who believes that we can. And I went different states, all the things, right? So, but I think that if I liked my son's core group of buddies, and they're like, hey, we're all going to Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
College after high school, and he really wants
a huge
to
pull.
Yeah, I would have a really hard time. And let's say it's not my favorite.
There's another piece here that we're not even talking about, which I kind of had this opinion before, but now even more so, especially in 2 years or 4 years. Is it necessary?
Oh yeah, no, I definitely think.
Is it necessary to go to college?
Yeah, this is what I fight with Courtney.
Oh yeah, because the ROI.
I'm on the. I don't think it's
in
necessary.
a lot of cases is not worth it. Like in a lot of situations, the degree you get is not worth the cost that you spent. You would have been better off maybe not going.
Yep.
And there's a lot of things now you can go learn in college that I'm looking at AI and I'm like, bro, by the time you graduate.
It'll be interesting.
They better shift, their options.
Totally.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Justin. It's going to be interesting how you tackle that,
it's a weird time,
especially when if what your kid tells you that they want to go do and study.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Because if they give you some,
that matters big time.
I feel like that totally matters.
Yeah.
Because it's like that.
Oh yeah.
If it's
I'd rather get them in a mentorship, internship somewhere where it's a direct placement. For something that they want to do. I think it's such a better path.
Yeah, I've been talking to my daughter about like businesses that require people. So like, do you like, because she kind of wants to work with people. So I'm like, okay, those there's certain careers that will probably always need that, like occupational therapy, physical therapy, maybe even cognitive behavioral therapy where you're working with a person. And I'm sure regulations will prevent AI from doing that kind of stuff. Like that I could see that potential, but like. Bro, it was just 6 years ago, going to school for coding was like, this is the best thing you could do.
Yeah.
Now they're like, don't do that.
Irrelevant.
Did you know that I'm watching interviews. I've seen a couple interviews or clips of people in tech who run these big companies. And they're like, oh, our coders haven't written a single line of code since December.
What?
I imagine
it's all AI.
I imagine one of the most popular degrees in the next 2 to 4 years is going to be AI degrees. Degrees in like the ability to program, run, and
by the time they graduate, that's going to be irrelevant.
That's what I'm trying to say, dude. It's changing so quick.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, but if
bro,
each
4 years,
but the ones that studied it are going to be on the front line of knowing how that's going to impact.
Either that, or if you love it, why don't you go learn it?
Yeah, but then the CEO will just be able to do everything.
Yeah, why don't you just go learn it? Go learn it on your own right now. Because whenever they come out with another version, which is like however months later, 6 months later,
that's easy. That's easy for 40-something-year-old us to say, like, tell that to a 17-year-old. Yeah, go teach yourself this. Like, yeah, good luck.
Well, I mean, if they're into it,
that's part of the big benefit too. Is like, I mean, I remember when I was 17, like I didn't know for sure what I had ideas. I mean, I went through. I'm going to be an architect. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a physical therapist. Like, I went through a lot of different things I was going to be or what I wasn't sure. I almost enlisted. So it's like, part of the good part of the college, I'd say, still is that ability to still try different classes, meet different people with different opinions and views and maybe backgrounds with different dads and moms that have jobs. That it's like, and just being exposed to other things that maybe you and your little bubble would have never thought you would.
God, I wonder if the future of being enlisted is they're going to look at your resume and you're going to be like, oh,
how good are your video
Call
games?
of Duty level?
Yes, I was going to say yes.
Oh
bro.
yeah, bro,
100%,
dude.
It's going to fly
be
drones.
Like it's going to be like, oh, you're level 56 in Call of Duty. Yeah, you're in.
You're in, dude. Come on in. That's going to be so wild. That's
weird to think about.
All right, let's change directions here real quick because I was looking up the toxins that they find in farmed fish versus wild caught.
Oh wow,
it's pretty bad.
It's so
not
bad.
good.
Don't they change the fish changes sex in there?
Sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes. So like higher in heavy metals,
Dude, you just
pesticides.
can't really win though, right?
Say what?
You can't really win because even the ocean, like deep sea fish, now they
have to find better ways to farm fish, I think. And you're right. Like that's the one place we get meat in the wild.
Yeah.
Like we don't do that anymore anywhere else. We don't
Right.
go hunt cows.
Doug, can you pull up a screenshot too? Because I know that they do this with farm fish. You know, they dye the fish meat so it will look like it's
yeah.
The
wild.
meat, yeah. It's
Like
like
how,
red.
how different does it look if they didn't dye it?
What's crazy to me is there's a dramatic difference in the taste of just farmed salmon versus wild salmon.
Yeah.
If you put them next to it and I ate each one and I didn't know any better, I'd be like, this is a different fish.
And it's like the fat content of
It's
it too,
the fat content, the fat amount, like the fat amount, the fatty acid profile.
Yeah, the profile.
It's all so different. You know,
That's crazy.
That's not saying it's unhealthy, but it's definitely better to go farmed salmon or not injected with dye.
Oh,
Rather,
they're
they
not.
are fed pigments. That's what it is.
Okay.
They're fed pigments. Interesting.
Yeah. But while some often synthetic pigments are added to feed. Oh, so there you go.
Same difference.
Yeah. You give them red number 40. Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the
insides.
unknown things that Butcher Box does, because we talk all about their grass-fed meat all the time, their heritage pork. They have a great selection of farmed fish.
I still got to smoke mine. I've got
Farm fish, wild fish.
I'm sorry, wild fish. Sorry, thanks, Doug. You have a great
after
selection. That was terrible. You
trash
have a
about
great
farmed
selection of wild caught fish.
Yeah.
They don't sell farmed. It's all
it's
wild.
wild.
I have some in my freezer right now that I got from them that I've been telling Doug
do the salmon.
I want to smoke it. Yeah, I haven't personally smoked salmon
When
yet.
you smoke salmon, you're not cooking it, right? Or
Yeah, you are.
It is. It's just
it's a
it's
slow
heat
cook.
with smoke.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a slow. I mean, in my opinion, I rarely
flavor.
ever use my gas grill ever. Almost only if I'm in a hurry to cook meat for something, or maybe because I'm smoking on one and I'm using it for something else and I'm using the gas grill for. But slow cooking meat over smoke is such a.
You know what? Doug taught me in regards to salmon. Years ago, we went to an advertising, I don't know what it was, convention or something like that, course down in San Diego. And he was ordering salmon. I'd never heard somebody say this before. You order steak. What do they ask you? The temperature, right? Medium, rare, whatever.
Yeah.
He'd be like, I'll have a salmon and I want it medium rare. I'm like, you can say that with fish? And so I started doing that. Oh my God, it's way better.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's way better.
Yeah, they don't even ask you. They just cook it that.
Bro, salmon,
Medium, is it usually
because
medium,
salmon
Doug?
cooked medium is
Yeah.
delicious.
Because overcooked fish is dry.
Dry.
Yeah, it's dry.
Yeah. And you can eat fish raw. I mean, if you like salmon sashimi, then why not have it on almost the raw side, and you're probably better off. Again, too, this is why I want to smoke it, because I smoke it to like a kind of a raw,
juicy.
Yeah, and before we got on air, I didn't even know today was Butcher Box. Doug and I were talking about
Juicy.
Yeah, we're talking about salmon, asking where you can get it like that. Like I'll do it, and then I'll report back. My goal is to do it before the next.
I got to show you guys. I'm going to share this with you, Doug, so you can put it up on the screen. Do you guys want to see the coolest? This is not AI. This is a real. It's confirmed. It's a Russian wrestler. Bozgit is, I can't even say his name. Forget it. I'm not going to say his name.
Just spell it
Doug,
out.
put on the screen this move that he did with 3 seconds left in the match. So it's 3 seconds left. He's down.
Okay.
And he does this move, bro. And by the way, I will argue this all day long, that I think overall general athleticism, I think wrestlers, high-level wrestlers
Yep.
are the best
I
displays.
know. I can't disagree.
Well, we see that in UFC still with all these mixed martial arts. The guys that have the high pedigrees in wrestling almost always are
They're
top.
just animals.
the
Okay.
top.
Oh, click on that and then
you're
look.
a different kind of human.
okay, watch this. This is with 3 seconds left. Watch what he does. Ready? Jumps.
Oh,
What in the?
Boom! Look.
flipped over
He
him?
jumps
What
over him,
the-
gets him in a body lock, and then
That's sick.
takedown, bro.
That's sick. I've never even seen that before.
Yeah.
Was that just like a spontaneous idea and he just jumped?
Well, that's a real move.
That's a real
Oh, it's a
move.
real
That's a real
I've
move.
never seen anybody
If you
do
go
that.
over the top of someone, you jump
Crazy.
over. So you bring your feet over
Yeah.
and then you twist and do this kind of like. But he did it from a jump. So he wasn't like on top of the guy, and then so he did it from a jump.
What a sick
To
move.
catch
It's
him,
like the Saquon Barkley.
Twist
of,
your body and
wrestling.
then-
Yeah, what a sick move.
Side
right?
suplex or whatever?
Yeah. Did you just that pop up in your feet
it's
or
all
something?
viral right now. So my speaking of algorithms, my algorithm often has times will have wrestling and judo. on there because I love watching that.
I mean, that's a cool move right there.
Isn't that rad?
Yeah, that's super. That's super.
All right,
cool.
I got some studies to pull up on Manukora Honey. Some really cool studies on Manukora Honey, which is kind of wild. So I'm going to go through some of these.
The healing honey, they should call it that.
Bro.
I want to try it on a cut.
Dude,
We
it's
should
crazy.
experiment with that.
I do.
Man, you put it on post-surgical wounds and you get you heal faster.
Mm-hmm.
It shortens healing times for burns and surgical wounds. So if you have a burn, put Manukora Honey on it, put a Band-Aid over it, it'll heal faster. It's good.
It's also delicious.
Don't lick it off, bro. Yeah. It's also good for gingivitis. What? So yeah, dude. So if you have like inflamed gums or whatever,
counterintuitive.
You could. I know because of the sugar.
Yeah,
no,
sugar.
it's the MGO, and I think it's called. Is it MGO that's in there? Yeah. That is antimicrobial.
I don't know. It's because I have caps, but sometimes I get like bloody, gums like that.
That's probably because you're gritting it.
Do everything hard. Dude.
Eat rocks.
Did you guys know that honey was more effective than over-the-counter cough suppressants for kids?
No way.
Yeah. There's a 2010 study.
Because it coats the throat?
No, it actually, there's a compound.
More effective than the cough syrup?
For kids. So they have stronger cough stuff for adults. But so there are compounds in honey that actually affect the part of the brain that causes the cough reflex.
Oh, I see. Okay. So it calms it down.
It actually reduces the cough reflex.
Interesting.
What's the prescription? Just one teaspoon of honey?
Yeah. And a couple times a day.
The next time Max gets a cough, I'm so
and it tastes good.
I'm still gonna try that versus giving some cough syrup that
put it in like lemon tea.
Or just let them take it straight off the spoon.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not like it tastes good.
Just do hot water, lemon, and then
you don't gotta hide it or anything like that. Yeah.
It's also good for H. pylori. So if you have H. pylori issues in the gut or gut issues that are due to inflammation, consuming it is good for that.
This
is like nature's.
I know it's nature's remedy.
We just went through colds in our household. Like a couple of weeks ago when we were all talking on the show, and I made Katrina and I hot toddies with the honey.
Yeah, I love those.
I did. That actually was.
What is it? It's whiskey. Honey?
That's the first time.
Whiskey,
and lime and fresh squeezed lime, whiskey, and then water, and then the honey.
Oh, okay.
And then you could actually put a little bit. I did it twice.
Put the cinnamon stick.
And then I put a cinnamon stick in there.
They used to give that to kids.
Yeah.
I think they used to give that to kids when they had coughs.
Dude, I have actually never
shots of whiskey for kids.
So only because recently, like alcohol has been a part of my life, right? Since we've been doing this. I've never done that. I've never made a hot toddy when I don't feel good. I've never thought I would want alcohol when I wasn't feeling good. And I'm like, I'm going to make myself one. I knew I had the Manukora Honey, so I'm like, I'll use that. I have a lime or lemon tree, so I did a fresh squeezed lemon, and was like, Katrina was like, "Oh my god, this feels so good."
All the ingredients in it, like Besides,
it's gonna be a go-to move for me the next time I have cold.
Not a bad call. I might have to do that.
How many do you have to have before you feel better?
I mean, I had two. Yeah, I had two. But you can make them pretty stiff. You know what I'm saying? So, and the cinnamon stick is if I made the first one with no cinnamon, just water, and then I made another one where I did a cinnamon stick, and then I did it another time with apple cider, which has kind of a cinnamon flavor to it instead of the water.
Okay.
And so if someone who can't handle the straight whiskey water,
it's more like a hot cider.
Yeah. So probably if you were
Dickens.
Dickens.
I didn't say it.
I love that brand. It's a great brand.
You did it.
Yeah,
right there, dude. I wanted to hear your money and happiness.
I'll bring it up again
because I saw you posting your story and I wanted to argue with you.
Yeah, no. This is there's data. There's a lot of data around this.
Everybody loves when you argue.
Yeah, no. There's a lot of data. You've seen this before. I've shown you this data before.
Yeah.
But, they've done a lot of studies on money and happiness, and the reason why they do these studies is when people, besides the necessities, because you need money for things that are necessary and a certain amount to feel secure, right? So above and beyond that, people still oftentimes desire more money. I want to make more money. And, when you boil it down and you ask people like, why do you want more money? It all boils down to, I think it'll make me happier. Now, it might start out by saying, well, I want a bigger house, or I want a new car, or I want to go on this vacation. But then you keep asking why. Well, why? And it's because, it'll make me happier. So they've done lots of studies on this, on what's the best ROI on money for happiness. So what's the best use of this extra money where you're going to get the most happiness in return? Okay. And so
giving it away.
And so, thanks for giving it away.
Yeah, no problem.
The end of the story. But So they've tested it with the worst is to buy things. That's the worst. So buying something, you get a spike in happiness, but then you can't repeat that. So if you buy the same thing again, there's no effect. And then the happiness wears off quickly and then it flatlines. So you buy a new purse, you buy cool shoes or whatever. And for the most part, generally what we see in the data is you get this like spike and it drops down quickly and then nothing else. And then if you repeat it again, it's like a drug. You're just getting no effect, right? Get the same exact purse again, there's no spike in happiness. Then the second, which is better, is experiences. So this is where you spend on like a vacation.
Because you create memories as you're going.
Yes, and so you see a longer happiness spike. And then when you think about that, depending on what happened, the more meaningful the experience, the better the reoccurring happiness from thinking about it. Nonetheless, you still get this diminishing return over time. So I keep thinking about it, unless it was profound experience, like this is when I met my wife, or this is when I had my child or something like that. You get this diminishing return and you still get this kind of like a drugs, like your body gets used to it. And so if I think about that vacation 20 years later, unless it was this profound thing, I really don't get this happiness again. And then the last one, which was wild, is, now there's some parameters around it, but the last one is if you use your money in a way where you voluntarily give it to someone to help them, and if you really want to maximize this according to the data, you see the outcome. So like you have a friend who's struggling, evicted from their house, or they're sick and they need medical bills, and then you're able to step in and help them, and then you see
so not
the effect.
passively, but you're like following it all the way through.
Yeah, then you get this high spike in happiness that lasts a long time, and then what they do in these studies, as long as they follow the people, so however long the study is, every time they recall that event, they get a similar spike in happiness with no drop. So it's like, hey, remember that time we helped that our friend in that situation, or hey, remember when we donated to those to help feed the poor, or when we did that mission trip, they get the same spike. And so if your ROI, if what you're interested in is happiness, the best ROI based on the data is to give it away, which I think is really, really interesting.
That is crazy.
Really cool.
So I knew where you were going to go with that. That's why I wanted you to talk about it, because I've thought a lot about this, and I think independent of each of those things that makes sense logically, but I also think that there's a way that all three of those can be fed. I'll give you an example.
What do you mean fed?
I'll give you an example,
Okay.
like meaning like a materialistic thing that gives the other two.
Oh, okay.
So I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Okay, an example that would be, Katrina and I could have spent the rest of our lives in a little condo that her, me, Max grew up in, and instead I bought a house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this house, I designed it in a way, and I bought it a certain way. And one of the most amazing parts about it is that it fits all of Katrina's family in it.
Yeah.
And we can all, and we've thrown at least 10 or 15 parties in less than a year.
Yeah.
So like once a month practically, where I host 30, 40, 50 of my family members.
Yeah,
One of my favorite things to do.
Totally.
So it's like, it is a materialistic thing, right?
Yeah, but that's not what's giving you the happiness.
Right. So
It's enabling the thing that gives you
right.
the
So
happiness.
like I think comparing those three cycles, like I would say my shoes falls in that category.
Sure.
Because once you buy one, then you're on to the next one,
Sure,
or whatever.
sure.
It's like only serves me. You know what I'm saying? It's like very. But there's things like, and then I would even make that argument, like my buddy and I, who's a car nut, like he's been in cars for a long time, even longer than I have. And we were having lunch one day after a drive, and these kids, there's two special needs kids came up, talked to us, and they pulled out, and they're so excited, and we both let them get in and out of the cars and stuff like that. And him and I were having this conversation that's one of my favorite parts about that.
Right.
It, like the initial enjoyment of the purchase and the drive of it, once you've done all the cool things in it. Yeah. But actually, one of the gift that keeps giving about it is being able to share that experience to someone who's like, I've never sat in or driven in one of these. And so I don't think it's as simple as this, like you can't get any of these other benefits from material things.
What they call it is, there's a term for it. It's like if there's a social component, that's not the term that they use. So like an example would be like a guy who is pursuing growing his business because he wants to make more money. But he uses that money to, I don't know, I'll use an extreme example, build orphanages.
Right.
Now he's got incredible happiness from building his business.
Right.
So yeah, I think you could tie lots of lots of different things. That's why I said with the experience, I think it depends what happens in the experience. Like, oh man, I went on this trip with my wife, or at the time we were dating, and this is when I proposed to her. And so then, you remember that type of deal. Yeah. So it's true, but generally speaking, I know this because, or I think this is, people believe this, maybe not consciously, but subconsciously, maybe even sometimes consciously, because companies advertise to us what gives them profit, which is to buy things.
Yeah.
And the way that they sell it to us is they don't sell us the thing, they sell us the dream of what the thing provides.
Yeah.
Which is happiness, freedom, status. It's never like the purse. It's like the purse, but the people see it. Now you feel like you're more important.
I've shared with you before on the podcast the exercise that I do with myself before I make a purchase. There's like boundaries.
Yeah, wait like
24 hours before
That's awesome.
I won't make. Then the next question is this something that I feel like I gotta show to everybody else, or is this something for me? Right. So there's a lot of layers because of that reason, because I know that I can be advertise, market to, impulsive about something, and just simply creating those boundaries makes me really think about that. But I mean, like using the house example is like, man, I feel like it's also a gift too. So it's like this, it's a gift, it's an experience, and it's a materialistic thing. Yeah. It's all three of those. It's like, and nobody in my family, in our family, has the ability to have a house like that can host and do all that. So it's almost like every time they all get together.
That's a great point. Imagine having your big place and not being around any family.
Right.
How empty would that
totally
be? Yeah.
Totally. And so and by the way, I learned this lesson. So I mean, I know one of the last podcasts we were teasing me about my bath. This is my house is not that big.
Yeah.
I've had a much bigger, arguably fancier place with views and everything to live, but we were just far enough away from family. Nobody came over. Yeah. And I remember Katrina and I being like, what is this for?
Yeah.
We got this cool place, and maybe on Instagram it would look cool to show people, but it's like, if I'm not using it to enjoy family, do that, then it defeats the purpose. And so being where we're at in a smaller place that's filled with love and people, and to know that every time I do that, it's like I get to give a gift again, and I get to experience something again. It's like, so there's like, to me, there's a fine line, because I feel like there can be very extreme people on both ends. There can be this, I'm all material and status direction you're going, and then there can be the like, nothing matters. Like money doesn't matter.
I find it interesting. Like if you look at, I mean, you're right, 100%. But I think more people struggle with the first part. If maybe they don't realize it, but if they really did an analysis, it's like, man, do I need all this stuff? And what do I think I'm going to get from getting these things? And what happens is like, it's a feedback loop. It's like, I got this thing, I got the little spike of happiness, it's gone, it's not happening again. Let me try getting something else. By the way, the data shows on the other side too, when people give to help others, then they start to do it more, because they start to feel it and realize it, and so it kind of becomes this positive feedback loop. So I think it's fascinating. It's interesting because I don't think a lot of people realize that. But if you really think about it, you're like, what do I want with this? Like, I got my stuff taken care of. What do I want with this extra money? What do I really want? I just want to be happy. I feel secure already. I got my savings. We're good.
Yeah.
But what do I want from them? I want to be happy. Okay, let me see. Let me try it in this way.
Yeah. Do you ever challenge yourself, because do you ever think of yourself on one side or that extreme or the other, and challenge yourself to go outside that a little bit? Because I'll be the first to admit that the first 30 years I was probably somebody who leaned on that. I had to learn that lesson, and maybe a little bit before 30, because I was doing things like the stuff that that I've done before for families and things like that. And I got to feel that. And that was a big, which by the way, I think for anybody, that's such a great exercise. Like if you've never done something like that, regardless of what level you're at, you don't have to be at a super level. In fact, I would argue, because even when I did that way back when, I wasn't in a major financial status to where I had lots of extra money to go give. Like I think it felt really good knowing that I didn't, and actually still did that, and being able to draw back on that memory of doing something for families like that, and go like, wow, I could still think about that and get that spike. Yeah. Here a decade and a half, 2 decades later or whatever. So I think that helps pull that back in a little bit, and then just becoming aware of, as you stack up some of those material things. I think my sneakers are a good example of that. Very aware of the ridiculousness of that, right? Like, and it doesn't give it. There is nobody else is getting enjoyment. There's no real experiences other than it being on my damn feet. That, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you should give them away.
Yeah. I have. I've given a lot of them away.
Really?
Oh yeah, a lot of my shoes I've given away. A ton of my shoes I've given away.
Wow.
But I do think there's also that. I mean, do you ever challenge yourself? Like,
I have challenges in a lot of different areas. Like, I thank God that this one is, for me, for whatever reason, it's never been an issue. It's never been like a challenge. Maybe because I grew up feeling secure in this way. It was never a big deal with my family, I think. So, when it comes to like money in that way, I've never felt challenges there. Thank God I have challenges in a lot of areas where I really struggle. But that's one where I thank God every day. Like, okay, this is not one that is a problem, because I could see that one being a hard one, especially if you become successful. I could see that being a real challenge for some people, or not being successful. I think that would be even harder.
Yeah.
Imagine being challenged that way and also feeling like
I think that's where a lot of people land. I think a lot of people land in that place of like constantly chasing this.
Well, look at the debt people have with like just buying cars.
Yeah.
Like the average car payment.
Insane.
It's crazy. And most people shouldn't even own that car. But what are they doing it for? And I think they bought this kind of idea.
Yeah. Did you see, I shared with you, I think you guys, Chris Nagibi's like on like the credit card debt.
Dude.
It's unbelievable what we're in right now with like, and the ability now to defer like food and defer like your rent. Like, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
8 Sleep is the most advanced sleep system in the world that will dramatically improve your sleep. So check it out. It goes over your mattress and it cools or warms your bed, and it uses AI technology to monitor your sleep, to maximize the temperature, to maximize the quality of your sleep. There's nothing like it anywhere. By the way, a lot of their devices have 2 sides. So you and your spouse can have different temperatures because, of course, you're different people. Look, if you want better sleep, better recovery, which leads to lots of better things, better fat loss, better muscle gain, you want to get one thing that makes a huge impact, go to 8sleep.com/mind pump, use the code mind pump, and get yourself a massive, huge discount. Back to the show. This segment of the podcast is brought to you by Mind Pump Fitness Coaching. This is the #1 course that teaches trainers and coaches how to build sustainable 6-figure plus businesses and careers in fitness. Look, it's roundtable based, so you can hear Adam, Justin, and myself teaching you how to build a better business, get more leads, close more deals, close bigger deals, and be more effective trainers. By the way, our course is nationally recognized. In fact, it gives you 1.9 CEUs with or for your NASM certification. Find out more at mindpumpfitnesscoaching.com.
Our first caller is Benjamin from Switzerland.
Hey, Benjamin.
What's happening? How you doing, man?
Hey, how are you guys?
Good.
Good. How can we help you?
So, bit of context here. It's a 2-part question, but a few years ago, basically, I lost a substantial amount of weight. And so it was a great benefit for my life, but I eventually pushed things way too far with training volume, running intensity, and especially the whole like calorie tracking aspect of things, which basically saw my hormones, energy, and just a lot of blood markers kind of just completely tank. And so for the last few years, it's really been more of like a uphill battle in a way of trying to rebuild my body, my relationship with it, but also just managing overall stress better, especially with, I'm kind of leading 2 to 3 careers at the same time. So that's definitely a challenge. I've run quite a few of your programs over the past couple of years. Right now I'm doing performance again. Not too sure if I should stick with it, but it seemed like a decent fit. And so my goals right now basically are to try and put on some muscle again, because I feel like I've been spinning my wheels, but without overdoing the volume. I've been very into mobility and like handstand trainings also. And recently did pick running back up, which I know sounds counterintuitive, but I've really focused more on just the joy of it without tracking metrics too much. And I've been loving it so far. So Yeah, more than anything, I think, to be honest, it's more about getting back to feeling like the little ball of energy I used to be known for being, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Good question. So in your email, it says you lost over 100 pounds.
Yeah, the space of around 2 years, I lost around 135 pounds.
Great job.
Wow, yeah, you look great, dude.
Great job, man.
Yeah.
And so now the main goal is I just want to feel better and have more energy.
Yeah, I think obviously the muscle and all that, like that's something that will come with time, but it really is just like you said, the daily energy, just feeling good. And whether that's also with my relationship with food, exercise, and it's
Yeah.
gone so much better already, but obviously it's always a work in progress.
And then you said you have about 3 careers going on right now. Can you explain that a little bit?
So basically, I'm a professional musician. I'm a cellist. So I'm a performing soloist after having done my postgrad in that. But at the same time, I'm working in my family business, which is a dermatology, but also longevity clinic now. So I'm working in that aspect of things and studying to become a health coach at the same time to kind of mend the two together.
Okay, so this is a lot of work.
Yeah, long days.
Okay. So losing that much weight is profoundly transformational, but also it's a big deal on the body. You lost the whole human off your body, and what it takes to get there is not where you want to stay to maintain. And you're probably feeling the low energy because you're just doing too much. Yeah. And you want to go through a period of rejuvenation and rebuilding. And you're going to need to go through this period for probably a year or two before you start to ramp things up and chase different goals. So you're going to have to go through a period of rest, essentially. Now, that doesn't mean you don't exercise, but everything that you do is kind of moving in that direction or centered towards that or aiming towards that. And what you'll notice from that is more energy. So less is more with this process. MAPS 15 would be your strength training protocol.
Yeah.
If you really, really love running, I guess it's okay. But if you want the energy, I would walk and just focus on steps.
I would just make sure you're fueled if you're gonna do that running. Like you don't want to be running and really low calorie too. That would be really bad recipe. Running with the proper amount of nutrients and calories for the enjoyment of it, I could see okay. But if I was training you, I'd want to know where we're at calorie wise before I let you go run and do that. I mean, kind of where Sal's going and where my brain goes with where you're at in your life. You did such an incredible job getting down to where you are. You're in a much healthier, fitter place. Your workouts your workouts actually shouldn't be your focus. Your focus should be kind of the career, your passions, staying healthy. And so you should train to be that person. You've done such a good job getting here. And then all the other things, the energy, hormone stuff, all that stuff will balance itself out because you work out to support your lifestyle and what you're doing, not to get to a certain place. You're at a place in your life where you have a lot of stuff going on. You've already accomplished the big rock, which was getting all that weight off your body and putting yourself in a healthy weight. Now what like your workout optimization looks like is really doing the least amount to elicit the most change, which is just a minimal dose that keeps you strong, gets you good rest, keeps you mobile, but not trying to stretch yourself and like hit these goals and trying to gain a bunch of muscle or get really good at BJJ, or it's like that's what's going to optimize you for longevity.
And Benjamin, that doesn't mean you're always going to be there.
Right.
Okay, because
this period of your time.
This is a season. So to put it differently, you went through a radical physical and psychological transformation, losing all that weight. And so now your body needs to go through a period of rest. That was a radical change. So like when I work with a woman who gets pregnant and has a baby, they're always like, how quickly can I get back in shape? How fast can I get back to how I was? Like, well, hold on, we just went through a radical change. Now that doesn't mean you don't progress afterwards, but it's gonna take a couple years before you start to like feel like, oh, like I'm back to my old self because of that radical change. Your change was massive. 135-pound weight loss physically is a big deal, but it's also psychologically a big deal. Like your mind had to change quite a bit to go from where you were to where you're at now. So now you got to go through a period of rest and recuperation, which is probably going to look like a year or two.
Which also, by the way, though, is the fastest path to you feeling better. You white knuckling
it's the only way.
Though you white knuckling it and trying to work your way back to a healthier version of yourself is not going to work.
No.
So this is not like one of those things. It's like, can I do this and can I do that? Can I do this to get to me to feel this way? It's like, honestly, the less you do in this situation and focus just on healthy rest, recovery, doing as little as possible to build some strength. And that's what it looks like. So this is not one of those things of what are all the things I can do to get there faster. The fastest path actually looks like the kind of laying off, like what Sal's alluding to right now. That is the fastest path. And I think you'll see positive changes relatively quick. Before I think he's setting the table, so you have to set your expectations right that this could take a year or so to get back to feeling like the best version of you. But you could start to feel that right away and a lot sooner. But it's not through doing more.
Yeah, the reason why I'm saying a year or two is because you are going to feel better quickly, and you might be fooled into thinking now I can ramp things back up. Because if you started following MAPS 15 right now and you did no additional strength training, no additional workouts, and all you did was MAPS 15 and walk, okay? No extra exercise, no running, no calisthenics,
no BJJ,
no nothing. Just walk every day. Make sure I get 8 to 10,000 steps, and then my lifting looks like MAPS 15, which is like 2 lifts.
Energy
a day.
Be through the roof.
Within a month, you're going to notice an increase in energy, and you're going to feel good. And then you're going to be fooled into thinking, okay, now I can ramp it back up.
Yeah.
What I'm saying to you is you got to have a year of that, a year of feeling good, a year of that rest before you start to ramp things up. Maybe even 2 years, because that's 135 pounds is not nothing. Most people don't even get close to that weight loss. You literally lost an entire human. So that's the direction you want to go. And the reason why you feel like you're doing these things, but your energy isn't good is because it's time now to let your body settle after all that massive shift. Because if you keep pushing, which by the way, pushing isn't going to look like a lot. So because you may judge it, you may think, well, this is not that much. I know people who work out like that. Yeah, but they didn't lose 135 pounds. So give yourself like a year or two of sitting in that rest. And then I promise you, it's going to be like, oh man, I can start ramping things up and you'll be a brand new person.
Yeah, it's funny because like I obviously, and it's what we always say, like I know deep down that that's exactly what I would tell others, and it's always harder, and it's always way. We never follow our like own advice, and that's why I've now it's been maybe 8 months maybe or so that I decided to put BJJ on the side. And that was tough. Like I really fell in love with it. And it was one of my outlets in the beginning to kind of shift my focus away from all the calorie tracking and all that. And it gave me this kind of focus that, I mean, you've talked about it, of like just performance and that kind of aspect. But I realized that it's still not the right moment. And I'll pick it back up, I'm sure, later on. But that was kind of, I know that was rough for me, but if I'm honest with myself, like I know that over the past 4 years, since I lost that weight, like I've hovered around the same 5 kilos, which is maybe like 10 pounds of like trying these like kind of bulks, but then stopping a bit shy because I felt uncomfortable with it. Also from my perspective, there's a side of it is always hard to judge in terms of, I know I like this, obviously some loose skin and stuff like that. So judging like also where I'm at body wise, like body fat percent and all that is objectively deceiving. And that often is a barrier in itself to, just trust the process. And I've really worked since like September or so to just stay on. I set this goal of whatever happens, like I'm not going to do anything too drastic in terms of trying to, even approaching the holidays is the first time I didn't approach it with a cut or anything. So like I've done huge improvements in terms of that. But it's always, yeah, it's something I know, like it will take time. I'm just trying to navigate kind of this, how do I, yeah, the working out in terms of,
Benjamin,
I know you don't need much.
let me encourage you. Okay. What you did to lose 135 pounds is a lot harder than what you need to do right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You're being really hard on yourself. Number two, I've never seen somebody lose over 100 pounds and look as good as you do.
Yeah.
Like never.
Yeah.
You sent some pictures. I'm
You're
like
muscular, dude.
I mean, and yeah, you talk about loose skin. Like you look like your body bounced better than I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I've worked with a lot of people who've had some pretty radical transformations through bariatric surgeries and the like. So you're doing great. Here's the deal. Okay. You're afraid of going back to where you were before. And I get that. Here's how you should approach your nutrition. Stop tracking, eat until you're satisfied, eat whole foods, hit your protein. That's it. Don't weigh yourself because that's going to mess you up. And try not to study yourself in the mirror or take pictures of yourself too much with your shirt off.
And don't try
to
and
feel good.
Don't try and bulk or cut. Feed the body when it's hungry. It's a beautiful thing when
it'll tell you how much
when you're getting healthy and you're strength training with like a MAPS 15. It will tell you when it needs more calories to build that muscle, and it'll tell you when you're satisfied and fine. It's a beautiful thing.
So long as it's whole natural foods, you can trust your satiety signals much more. So you just eat whole natural foods, hit your protein targets, which is your body weight in protein. Eat that first.
Yep.
Follow MAPS 15 and just walk.
2 lifts a day, you're good.
That's it, dude. And it's going to be hard, but I'm telling you right now, it is what you went through to get here. Way harder, dude.
Yeah.
You're being really. I think you're just got some fear. Because you're maybe afraid of going back to where you were before or whatever, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I think it's kind of part two of the question, if that's all right.
Yeah.
I think you hit a right note about the fears that, like, I'm very aware of it, but there's, in a sense, also a bit of imposter syndrome, I think, because a big thing for me right now, like a massive goal and like driving purpose in my life, which I've always had from playing the cello, performing for people. It's, I want to help people and like serve. And in this case, I basically want to help them avoid the mistakes that I made along the way. And so like, I know that everyone goes through the struggles, but there's that aspect of, I'm still struggling with certain things. And I'm very honest about it. I have no issue talking about it. But managing that kind of reality of things while also being able to help others in their life journeys and transformations.
Lean into it. Lean into it, Benjamin.
That'll make you better.
Lean into it. You've been listening to the show for a long time, yeah?
I knew you were going to say that.
Of course I'm going to say that.
I could have quoted you, I think.
Yeah, because if you've listened for a long time, you know that's what makes this show, is that we're not afraid to share our struggles, the things still today, what we go through and our mishaps and what we learned and how silly and stupid we were before and how we keep making mistakes. People connect with that and people will resonate with that and they'll respect that. So lean into that. Lean into where you're at in your journey. Where you get imposter syndrome is when you try and pretend you're something you're not. And people will appreciate the vulnerability and appreciate what you've accomplished already is amazing and can help so many people from your story. Don't try and pretend like you have all the answers and you've figured it all out. Let them know.
Then you'll be an imposter.
That's right. Then you'll feel imposter syndrome. Be who you are and where you're at and open with what you're still trying to figure out. And that is what will resonate with the people that you're helping, and you'll help way more people that way, and you'll be far more successful if you come from that place.
Yeah, and I started sharing actually some social media content like focused around cooking because I love cooking, and giving like kind of healthier tips around that, like meal prep, like you often like. I may have used you a couple of times in terms of cooking batch meats the dinner before.
Yeah.
But yeah, trying to like, because it's been a way to reclaim kind of power over food, like the way that it controlled me. And I'm trying to funnel that also. But yeah, I know I'm stepping in the right direction. It's more just kind of being able to strip things down and get a clearer view.
Yeah, I have a lot of confidence that you're going to do great.
You're doing good, bro.
Yeah, I think that the discomfort you feel is because you're such a fast grower. It sounds like you're pretty rapid with personal growth when you kind of decide to go in a direction, and that's always uncomfortable. But you're doing great, bro. You're doing really well. Give yourself a good year of rest. So that's how you approach your exercise. A good year of rest around food, which means you're not watching every bite. You're just eating when you feel hungry. Sticking to whole natural foods. Hit your protein first. Those are your guardrails. I think it's great if you help other people. I think that's one of the things that saved me from going too crazy was that I helped other people. And be honest and be just totally honest. That'll make you a better coach, a better trainer. That's it. Yeah, you're doing great, dude.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, thanks for all the stories also that you guys share. I know recently, Adam, everything you've been talking about, like it, just like what I want to be able to provide to others, like it really does help give a lot of a more human like approach to this. So I think it's amazing what you guys have been doing.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're going to do great, brother.
Yeah. Do you have MAPS 15? Do you have any of those programs? I'll send some to you.
So actually I do have 15, but I was wondering if maybe to make Justin happy also, do you reckon MAPS 15 performance could be something to look at?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll send it to you. They're both great. You'll love them.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
You got it, dude.
Good.
All right, buddy.
And if I can ask one last little suggestion.
Yeah.
You guys should consider doing some sort of like MAPS inner circle program with Jordan Sire once.
That's great, dude.
Yeah, he's great.
I'm sure that's something a lot of people would love.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we love Jordan.
Yeah, he's great.
For sure, man.
He's great.
All right, Benjamin. Take it
All
easy,
right,
brother.
thank you so
Keep
much.
it up.
All right.
By the way, his the way he looks after losing 135 pounds, it's like best.
I know, it's crazy.
Because
135 pounds is huge.
Yeah, it's massive. You gotta go through. Look, you go through a dramatic. First of all, losing 30 pounds of body fat is a big change, mentally, physically. 135 pounds. Yeah, you're gonna need a year to just sit in it and just let your body
Just
rest.
recuperate.
You were chasing for that whole time.
It's really good that we had a discussion around that because I know what you mean when you say that. But I think a lot of people hear that and they think, a year?
Yeah.
I got to wait a year to see results.
To feel
Lay
good.
around.
Yeah, to feel yeah. You know, and just think that it's going to be that long until they feel good at all.
No,
it's like
no.
you'll feel better and better every week, and then
But you got to just wait a year
it'll
before you go
increase.
crazy.
And you're right. What happens to people is they start off the right path by taking the advice, and then a month or two later, they're like, "Oh, I feel great," and then they start to ramp
That's
it up,
right.
and then they go right back. And so that's really the advice: is that listen, you're gonna be feeling really good pretty quick. You know, a couple months of taking that advice, walking and eating like that, and training MAPS 15.
Yeah, you'll be humming.
30, 60 days, he's going to be feeling really good. What he doesn't know is that his body's not really good yet, and it needs to stay in that place
That's
for a year. And that's going to be the hard part, is the temptation to want to ramp up and do more.
Our next caller is Jana from Texas.
Hi, Jana.
How you doing, Jana?
Hello. How are y'all today?
Good.
Good. How can we help you?
Well, it's a great pleasure to have this opportunity to visit with y'all today. I've got some notes so that I can attempt to keep this concise, because I will tell y'all that I had dreams of what I would discuss with y'all had I won the spend the day with my in y'all's winter raffle.
All right.
So today is actually my second chat with you guys. I'm a member of your Muscle Mommy group,
All right.
and I got to visit with you guys in that first week when I was contemplating some goals back in the fall. I ended up going in a different direction after the chat, but it was based on some feedback that I received from Adam about what I thought I wanted to do and what it was going to take to do that. And I changed course. Although I would say I will probably go back to that in a upcoming season, because y'all released Powerlift 15, and that I'm excited about that in the future. So there's my plug for Mind Pump advertising, all the things.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So the email that was picked for the podcast, I'm going to say I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that there's an aesthetic aspect to my fitness. And there's also some ego associated wanting to go after PRs. But I'm currently sitting in the midst of my 40s with realistic barriers and limitations to going after audacious goals in this phase of my life. So I have recently shifted in the last few years to a mindset of curiosity, and it's been a fun and fulfilling way to stay motivated and disciplined. It's kind of my version of seeking excellence in a season where I'm pulled in a lot of different directions. As a person who enjoys lifting weights and cardio, mainly running and cycling, my interest was piqued when Sal started talking about an unconventional way to combine cardio and lifting. And then when he actually said, hey, I want to do this, I said, you know what? This is my time. Shoot your shot. Just reach out and say, how do you realistically do something like this? I'm coming from a different angle from Sal because I enjoy lifting weights and doing cardio equally. I've been trying to find a good balance over the last few years, but I continue to find myself more fatigued than invigorated with the alternating days protocol. So I thought it would be a fun way to challenge myself to actually try going a cardio week and a strength week. And then at the time you had not started your journey, Sal. And I thought, you know what, I wanted to challenge you and say, as a female in a similar stage of life as you, let's set some metrics and see what we can accomplish if we stuck to this for an actual season. Since writing the email, I've finished MAPS HIT, which followed your Muscle Mommy 15 programming. My very first program was within your catalog, was Performance, recommended to me actually by a physical therapist friend. So shout out to Justin, because most of those mobility days exposed a lot of my body's bad habits. So I'm currently in week 2 of Symmetry 15 and in the final phase of rebuilding some body mechanics issues that I had related to running. It seemed to me like the perfect time to try alternating weeks to see if I can keep working on my strength while also rebuilding an aerobic base.
Okay, good. So, all right, how many days a week do you like to go to the gym?
I actually work out from home. And what I've been doing is I kind of took the parameters of the performance, the 3 days a week. So I combine days 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. And then I do day 7, one of the days on the weekend. So really, I'm currently doing the strength training aspect about 3 times a week. Okay.
And then cardio wise, what do you like to do for cardio? You said you enjoy doing it. What do you like?
It's mainly running or cycling. And I've got a pretty low base right now. So it's like, probably 3 or 4 times a week, probably 4 to 7 miles is kind of my, is my current long run. But I've got a goal to try to get a baseline of 20 miles a week.
All right. And then how's your recovery ability, sleep, and all that stuff? How do you feel with your volume?
Sleep is very good. My nutrition is good. I usually when I increase my mileage, my nutrition goes up. I eat a lot more.
Sure.
Cardio has always been something that actually stimulates my appetite, so I don't have to worry about the under eating part.
Okay.
My biggest limitation is probably time. And I think that's also the problem with alternating days, is because I try to do too much quality in my strength days and then go to quality in my cardio days. And I don't have a lot of room for I try to do super intense all the time. I think maybe.
Yeah, you're doing too much. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So generally speaking, what it would look like is the 1 week would be just strength training 3 days a week. All you're going to do is 3 full body workouts. You're not doing anything else. Yep. The following week, you're doing 3 cardio days. 2 of them are going to be steady state. This is where you're going for your long runs or your long cycles. One of them is going to be more hit style, where you're practicing your sprints. And it's going to be very short. So it'll take you 25, 30 minutes. And that's it. That's it. And you're just going to alternate from one to the other. So 3 full body workouts. The following week, 3 cardio days. 2 of those are steady state. One of them, you're doing the hit style sprinting, which can be done on a bike, or if you have good running mechanics, it would be sprints. Now, the sprints look like this. You sprint all out for 20 seconds or so, and then you walk and rest until you're ready to sprint again. So however long that takes. And you repeat that like 4 or 5 times.
I like the MAPS 15 performance protocol that you're following right now as your strength training, because I think because of what you brought up with mobility and stuff, I think that's a good program to follow for your strength.
You can keep doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just every other week.
Okay. Well, right now I'm doing, I've done performance and performance 15. I've just started symmetry. I've been doing
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, that's good.
But with this, I could probably switch from the symmetry 15 and actually do the full symmetry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How many days a week is map symmetry, full symmetry? Is it 3?
3, I believe.
Or 4?
Depends on the phase, yeah.
Yeah, so with symmetry, you would do it 1 week and then 1 week off.
Okay.
And the off week would be the week where you're just doing cardio.
Okay.
That's literally it. And,
Okay.
I'd love to have you back on in 60 days to get some feedback on how you feel and all that.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Good. Let's have you back on in 60 days. Let us know how it goes.
sounds great. Thank you guys.
You got it.
All right.
All right.
I mean, I might at some point, with you guys create a program and protocol like this. But just to be clear, for me, none of this is performance based. None of it is to try to improve my aesthetics. I'm not doing it because I want dramatic increases in any kind of performance.
The cycle.
I'm trying to break the chains of my addiction to strength training.
Yeah.
So that's it. And I'll report back on what I noticed, but I'm not like trying to get.
No, and to be fair, if we do kind of construct and create this, I would like to run it as a performance element to that as well, so we can compare.
No, if I
because
wrote,
most people would want it for that.
That's right.
Most people, this is attractive. If just like she said, I love strength training. I love doing cardio
that's right.
stuff.
That's exactly what I would do.
Yeah. So
in fact, I have some good ideas around it.
We'll have to experiment with that. I think it's a good idea.
One version I have is more strength focused. One version I have is more cardio focused.
Oh, that would be cool. You could do that's cool.
That's right. That's right.
Output,
so it's
like
one version is for someone,
like somebody
who wants both,
who wants,
but likes the cardio.
Yeah.
The other version is someone who likes the muscle and strength, and but they're both alternating.
Yeah. That's smart. I like that.
Our next caller is Syra from Nevada.
Hi, Syra.
How you doing, Syra?
Hi.
How's it going?
How can we help you?
Well, I sent in quite a story, but basically just was going to boil it down to 3 important things. For one, I have a tendency to overtrain. I didn't tell you that with my jiu-jitsu background, I usually train about 6 days a week, but I recently had to dial it back thanks to the holidays for a whole month. So my 3 questions are, I want to keep working out with my husband of years who started working out with me again. And so I don't want to ruin that vibe that we have going on. But I also have some things that I need to work on, like my shoulders. I ripped my shoulders with my boys at the lake. I ripped them completely. So if I don't keep on them, I notice that I start having pain again. I want to keep my jiu-jitsu schedule. I coach jiu-jitsu 5 days a week, so it's important to me. And also, I love the mountains, so I need to spend time out in the mountains running or hiking. So those are the important things I want to keep doing, but I'm not there right now. I'm only training jiu-jitsu 3 days a week. I weightlift with my husband twice a week, but that's where I'm at. And I want to be able to add all this stuff back in without overtraining.
Well, you're adding all the stuff back in would be overtraining. Where you're at right now is perfect.
Yeah.
Where you're at right now. Yeah. Where you're at right now is perfect. Adding back in means you're overtraining. I mean, you're right. You're already right there anyways. Like this, 3 days a week of BJJ plus 2 days of strength training is
plus
about
14,000 steps a day.
Yeah, plus 14,000 steps a day is already redlining. Any more than that is
we gotta take away from the other.
Overtraining, injury city, sleep disruption, no results, all the things.
So what's the question? Is the question, can I add more training, or is the question change, like a different goal?
Well, yeah. So I also sent in a photo of myself because I do carry more fat than I would like to. It's not the most important thing. The most important thing is staying active. The most important thing for me is staying healthy. I'm 50. So, and I have grandkids now. So I just want to be able to keep up with everybody.
Yeah.
My kids, I have kids that train jiu-jitsu also. So adult sons. So I like to join them sometimes. But, and like I said, my shoulders, I've been off for a month. And I've noticed I started having issues with them again. So that I need to add back in. I know that. So how can I keep my weight training with my husband at the 2 days a week. I get what you guys are saying. I know, I want to go 6 times a week, but it's really unrealistic, and I know that. I got sick from doing that.
Yeah, no, it's very unrealistic. You're already
I get
there.
what you're saying. I guess
mobility.
There's a whole lot to it.
There's like, okay, so you're already doing a great routine, like, because you like BJJ, and it sounds like that's a big part of your life. So we wouldn't mess with
Family's
that.
all invested in
You
it.
like strength training with your husband. We're all pro that. I love that. And I love that even if like what it might look like if I was coaching you is like, depending on how your body is feeling, one of those days with him, you're really going easy. And the other day is when you're kind of getting after it out of those 2 days, because that's plenty of intensity. Before you guys get into your weightlifting routine, a good mobility routine around your shoulders would be a optimal way to always start that lifting routine, and then try and do that throughout the week to keep those shoulders healthy. So that's what that would look like. I would do stuff out of our Prime Pro. I don't know if you have Prime Pro?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so
I do the shoulder and scapular mobility stuff on there daily.
Daily.
That'll help.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and I haven't done it daily. I've only I'd hit it 3 days a week when I was doing it consistently. I did like doing like the overhead press, and I haven't added that back in because that's not something he'll do, but it's probably not. I don't know. I sent what I was doing for workout. Do you think I need to add more weight for, shoulder work, or should I just do the mobility?
Do you have it, Doug? That she said she sent in her workout. I don't see it up there. Oh yeah. Let me take a look at it. Yeah, let's see what it looks like here. Box squats, dumbbell press, dumbbell rows, day 2 squats, reverse curls, reverse barbell, skull crushers. It's fine. I would add mobility. I think a big part of your routine should be mobility. Yeah. And I would do 10 to 15 minutes of it once or twice a day every day.
I mean, an easy thing for us is to let us send you MAPS Performance and just do it 2 days a week. So we have MAPS Performance 2 days a week. We also have mobility days in there. So if you were to do anything else, it would be those mobility days. So that's an
easy one.
So what would be an easy solution is we're going to send you MAPS Performance. It calls for 3 days of lifting and then 2 mobility days. Only do 2 of the lifting days.
2 foundation days.
The 2 foundational days.
Okay.
You're more than welcome to do if you're going to do more stuff, do more mobility stuff. So follow the mobility stuff. Focus on your upper body, so shoulder, scapula stuff. So that's where you'd put your focus on the mobility, and follow that the way it's laid out. You'll get tremendous benefit from what you're looking for. I do want to address something you said, just because you said it, because if you're my client, this would be a longer conversation, more than once probably. You brought up aesthetics.
Okay.
The way you are training, you're training more for longevity, health, and strength. If you're trying to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and you're trying to work out with your husband, and then you're also like, I want to do aesthetics, something's got to give. And I think you're in great shape. I think you would smoke 99% of anybody else your age at a lot of things. The amount of steps you take with hiking and activities and jiu-jitsu, I think you're in great shape and are doing a hell of a job, especially if we take care of them shoulders. So if that's really desired outcome, now then if you said to me, Adam, I want to get this body fat percentage and look a certain way, then I'd say we would completely change the way we train to go after that goal. And we absolutely could do that, but that means we would modify jiu-jitsu and modify the other activities to do that.
Yeah.
So
in my opinion, not worth it.
And totally not worth it.
It's not a worthwhile trade. You won't be happy.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, could I do it seasonally maybe?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you could.
Absolutely. We could go through a phase where we go.
Not suffer longevity, I guess.
Yeah, we absolutely could go through like a 3-month phase where you're like, hey, let's make aesthetics a priority. And then we build a complete diet, workout routine, and movement schedule around changing your physique to a certain way. Right. Could totally do that. This is also and I don't know where you're at. This is where the value of like having a coach take you through this process is like, I would coach you through that, show you how to do that on certain seasons. And then once we kind of gone through that, you get it. And then you can do it the rest of your life. You can decide, you know what, every 3 months out of every year, I'm going to get in like the best physical shape I can get in. And that becomes my priority. The other 9 months of the year, I'm balancing my jiu-jitsu, strength training and stuff like that and performance. And that's a very healthy, awesome way to schedule your year.
As long as you're comfortable pausing some of those other things and really like prioritizing, focusing on it, for those 3 months, you would gain a lot of benefit from that.
Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you this. Here's my opinion on this, Syra.
Yeah.
You love jujitsu. You got your whole family involved. You're doing this workout with your husband.
You're winning.
I don't think you're going to be happy going through seasons of trying to get cut and cutting the jiu-jitsu down and doing more bodybuilding and all that. I don't think it's going to be a worthwhile trade. I think you'll try it a couple times. It's not worth it. It really isn't.
You need to try it.
If you're fit, you're performing well, you look healthy, like you're fine. You're totally fine. Yeah, I think your issue is going to be overtraining.
Yeah.
I think your issue is always like not doing too much. That's the only thing you got to worry about.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. I love all your stories.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate it. No, I did buy your recent release. What was it called?
Grade 8?
Grade 8.
Grade 8.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can
I
do
did
that.
buy that recent release because I thought, well, that would be okay.
You could totally do that.
Right.
The only difference is you're not
and
doing 2 days a week of strength training. You're doing one lift a day. So your husband and you would just do one lift a day together.
That'd be a great program though too.
Yeah, I can only work out. Yeah, okay.
You could.
We can only work out twice a week together.
So you could do this. You could take the 8 exercises and you could put 4 on one day and 4 on the other.
That's gonna fry her.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
All those compound lifts in one day
You think
after
so?
jiu-jitsu. It might fry you.
Yeah, maybe.
There's a fatigue component.
Well, I do try not to lift on the days that I do jiu-jitsu. So I'll make sure that I train, although I am fried like the next day.
Yeah,
So.
I think what you're doing is totally fine. And just watch the volume on the strength training and enjoy it with your husband. Yep. You're good. Your issue is going to be going too far. I think you know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do.
Yep.
I know that. All right. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Syra.
So are you.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a fatigue component, right? So you take the grade 8.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And you do 4 compound lifts in one day with jiu-jitsu, unless that's going to fry you. But one a day.
They're not.
Well, I'm trying. Well, you could do it to where there's only about 2 compound. It's not 8 compound lifts. You have a sit up in there as one of the 8. You have a windmill in there as one of the 8. Mm-hmm. So it's really it'd be 2 or 3. You're right. Like I wouldn't.
My strong feeling is when you're doing it intense, any kind of intense athletic, routine, jiu-jitsu or soccer or you're playing water polo, that you could lift twice a week, or you could do a little bit every day. And, even if the volume is controlled all the same, I would bet my bottom dollar.
I'm not. Obviously, it's better, but she can't do that. She said that right away. Yeah. And I could take the 8 and you could modify it, but it would have to modify it.
You'd have to totally modify it. But I'll tell you, people listening right now, this if you love what you do and you're fit and healthy and you're doing a sport, and you think, man, if I just lost 4% body fat, maybe I'll stop doing this thing I love for a little while to get it's not worth it.
Dude,
I guarantee you'll come out and you won't be happy.
She's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. She hikes 14,000 steps a day.
She said she's 50. She looks like she's 30.
She's a grandma.
You're fine.
She's kicking ass.
You're fine, dude.
Yeah. So it's like, but that's why I wanted to bring up the aesthetic thing, because she said it, and I'm like,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, we could totally radically change your entire life and focus it around looking a certain way if you really wanted to, but then it would impede on these things that you've already said that you love.
Yep.
It's like, you're healthy. You're doing great.
Our next caller is Katerina from New Jersey.
Katerina, how you doing?
Hi.
Hello.
Oh my God, you said it correctly.
Yeah, that's my sister's name is Katerina. And so is my grandmother.
Nice.
Yeah. How can we help you?
Nice to meet you guys. Yeah, so I guess I'll just jump into my email. So I'm writing because I was overweight for many, many years. I'm 5'2". I reached over 200 pounds after infertility treatments, miscarriage, pregnancy, breastfeeding, you name it. General physical toll of having kids. I spent years dieting, trying to lose weight with limited success until one time that I saw myself holding my youngest and felt embarrassed to even share the picture out. So I committed to myself in that moment that I would change, and I followed through. I lost about 50 pounds through consistent lifestyle changes, including a very short stint, maybe 3-4 months, on a compound GLP-1. During that time, I intentionally kept the dose real low. I strength trained. I was adamant about not sacrificing muscle during that time. I was only on it for a few months, like I said. About a year after that weight loss, I began working with a personal trainer at a big box gym. And I've been with him for over a year now. Working with him has completely unlocked my love for strength training. I'm obsessed. Despite being young, he's only 23. He's really focused on safety, recovery, long-term health, that kind of stuff. This past summer, it was the leanest I've ever been. I felt strong, proud of my body. I was really excited to kind of feel good in my skin. Around late September of this past year, I noticed the scale starting to creep up. I wasn't really concerned at first, but then I also started looking softer. That triggered a lot of fear in me because I worked really hard to kind of get where I'm at, and I was terrified of gaining the weight back. I consulted with a nutritionist, and they basically said, okay, let's slash calories and knock out some protein as well. So they took me down from where I was, which was about 2,200 calories and 175 to 200 grams of protein, down to 1,800 calories and 150 grams of protein. For additional context, I train about 5 times a week, which is down from 7 times a week because I was overtraining, as I'm sure you guys will tell me. I do low impact cardio and mobility work twice a week. After the calorie drop, I didn't see any progress. I felt worse. I didn't look any better. And so after a couple weeks, I said, screw it, I'm going back to where I was. I went back up to 2,200 calories. And since then, I was hitting PRs every day, pretty much PRs. I felt great, but I'm stuck. So I'm at the situation where performance wise, it's great, but I do want to cut out that body fat that I put on the last few months. And so I guess my question is, how do we determine when to transition from maintenance back into a cut when you're doing so well in the gym and you're performing so well? That's really my main question, honestly, just mostly that.
Well, let me encourage you, first of all, you're doing really well. I mean, you're working with the trainer. You've been consistent for a while. You're in a really good place.
Oh, wow. You're really strong, too. I just saw your numbers.
And you're really strong. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a super strong. You're doing great.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna answer the question in a second because it's a simple answer, but it's actually more complex than just the answer. Okay.
Okay.
If you're approaching this like you saw yourself in the picture, and you're like, I need to change something. If you're doing this because you are afraid of going back, because that person in the picture has less value, or I don't like the way I look, I hate that person, I dislike that, then you're going to go through the rest of your life, this fitness journey is going to look up and down. Mm-hmm. So as long as you can remain in fear and control, you'll be on. At some points, you'll get sick of that and you'll come off. And then that's when you're going to do the up and down. So it's going to feel like it becomes overbearing. I'm going to loosen up a little bit, enjoy myself for a second. Oh, crap, scale went up. Let me hate myself a little bit more and bring myself back down. And that's going to get exhausting. So I'm going to tell you this right now. It'll get old soon if you stay on that path. So what you need to do is you really need to, number one, do this because even that person in the picture has value. You always have value, okay? And you need to think of taking care of yourself. Like, what do I got to do to take care of myself? Like in a real way, like you're somebody you care about. Like if it's your kid, I want to take care of this person. So that's the root of it. And I just said it in a minute, but it's a constant journey and a constant self-talk. And you're with a trainer, which is really good because they're going to help guide you along the way. As far as a cut is concerned and all that, I don't think you should cut at 2,200 calories maintenance. That's too low. It doesn't give us enough runway. I think continue to strength train, continue to get stronger, continue to slowly increase your calories, and then cut from a higher place. I would like to cut once you get up to like 2,700 calories. and you're doing okay and everything's stable. Then I can bring you down to 2,200 calories and then we'll see some fat loss. But again, if you don't address like the fear or any of the self-hate for how I used to be, or I'm only valuable because now I'm fit, if you don't address that, it's going to be like this forever. And I'm going to tell you right, it'll get old. It'll get so old at some point. You'll get so frustrated, you'll stop. It'll revert back, and then you'll do this on-off type of thing. But again, I'm going to encourage you, you're on the right path. I think you're on the right path. I think your strength training is good. I like that you stopped the cut. You're hitting the PRs, and you're feeling better. I think that was the right decision. I would continue to slowly move up so we have some runway.
2 questions. Have you tested your body fat?
Yeah, so I did a bod-pod thing like back in December, and I was at 22.6% body fat then. I also had access to an in-body scale at the gym, but I know it's like not super accurate, those things. I have the numbers. In August, I was at like 18.9% body fat, and then November it was at 21.7. So, I mean, I don't know how accurate that really is.
Well, those are reading from 2 different things, right? Because the most important thing...
sorry, the August 18.9 and the November 21.7 is the same thing. The bod-pod, the 22.6, that was a different
Okay. Thing. What changed in that time where the body fat percentage went up?
Honestly, I don't know. And that's the thing. Like, I track my macros, I meal plan, I do all that stuff. I didn't change my training. I that's kind of where I was at a loss, where I felt like I was doing the same things. And out of nowhere, I just started like body fat percentage going up. The scale went up. I gained like almost 10 pounds. Like, I really don't know. And again, I don't care about the number on the scale. Like, I genuinely do not care. I'm not concerned about that. I just see what I see. You know what I mean?
So then the other question I had is blood work anytime recent. Do you know where your hormone levels and things are?
I did do them probably in October, November. I'm actually due to have them done again. Nothing was off the charts. The only thing that ever gets flagged is that my protein is high, which because I eat a lot of protein.
Yeah. Not really
regular period?
No. Actually, I haven't had a cycle since April of last year.
Okay.
And I did talk to my gyno. And we put me on meds. Couldn't figure out. I had ultrasounds. Couldn't figure out why. So we still don't really know.
Okay.
Why.
Typically.
Okay. So this is where I was going with this. Yeah. So I don't know if you've been listening to the podcast lately, but
for a while, yeah.
So I'm training Corinne right now, who's one of our trainers. We just got our body fat test for the second time, and totally devastated her. And what happened? We'd gone from like 17%. She was floating around 17% body fat, and shows that we put all fat on, no muscle, and we added like 10 pounds in the scale. And she's just like, oh. And what my theory is on this is I had to dramatically reduce her volume because she was training too high a volume at too low of a calorie for such a long period of time. She didn't have reflection in her period, but I saw her test on her bone density. Her bone density was, and so we'll see some things like this where bone density is really low, or we'll see irregular periods, or you'll see markers way off. And a lot of times it's this indicator that you've been training too high a volume at too low of a calorie for such a long time. The body is just not responding. And what I had to tell her was, I jumped the gun and had you body fat test again because I was so excited. I thought she looked great. I thought we were hitting PRs like crazy in the gym. So I was like, oh, I'm going to hopefully show her a bunch of muscle she's added. But the truth is what's happened is we've just got her to a healthy place now. Like her body fat percentage need to go up. The volume need to come down. And now my theory is we keep heading down this track. We don't change anything. And that what she'll start to see is she'll start to build some muscle. The muscle, we want it to correlate perfectly with I'm putting the work in, I'm doing the things, the PRs are happening, so I should be adding muscle. But then when I check this, but it doesn't work that way. It's like how children grow. They don't grow at all for weeks, and then all of a sudden they sprout up 2 inches. And this as a mother. Like that's the same thing with how your body responds sometimes with muscle. It's like you're doing all the right things. We're not seeing the change that we want to see. And then all of a sudden it's like, bam, you have this week and you're like, oh shit, I look way better. And so you could be in this stage right now where you're coming from a 7 day a week trainer, 7 days a week of training, low calorie, that you're kind of just getting healthy. And I think you're heading down the right path where your calories are. In fact, to Sal's point, I would want to slowly increase your calories, even though you don't feel like that's the right thing probably to do right now because of how you might feel. But that is the path. The path is to continue to fuel your body so it gets healthier. And then as it gets healthier, you're at a healthier place of calories. Hopefully we see the period come back. That would be the big indicator. So like the conversation I'm having with her is like, I want to see that bone density get better. If I know that gets better, then all of a sudden I bet you our body starts responding better. With yours, it would be like the period would be the conversation we're having is let's get that right. And then I bet you start to see the response from all the hard work that you put in the gym.
9 out of 10 times, a young woman with irregular cycle who exercises and tracks macros is overtraining and undereating. So 90% of the time, if we cut your volume in half and bumped your calories, I would be surprised if your period didn't come back within 40 days, 60 days.
And the hardest part about this is back to the point I made of this isn't like this linear, perfect, like you'll go through an uncomfortable phase, just like Corinne's going through right now. It's like she's going through an uncomfortable phase where she's like, all I did was put on body fat. This feels terrible. It's like, our body's trying to get healthy again. Like we need to get it completely healthy, and then it will respond the way we want to. And so it'll be the difficult part will be the psychological part of this is the pathway. The pathway is to increase these calories, reduce your training to more like a 3 day a week full body type of routine. If you want more activity, walking's fine. So like if you need to move, you need to do something, I'm super pro walk. Go for a walk. But as far as the intensity of training involved, that probably 3 days a week is where you need to be, and then and slowly inching calories up. And you'll go through a little uncomfortable phase for a little bit, but we know we're on the right path when the period comes back and becomes regular again. And then now your body's going to respond to you the way it's supposed to respond to you from the hard work that you're putting in.
I saw you make a face when Adam brought that up. Well, let me ask you this: how long have you been tracking your macros carefully?
Like 2 years.
What do you think's going to happen if you stop tracking, or what are you afraid of?
Getting the weight back.
You'll never be that girl. A girl that's hitting the weights that you're hitting the weights right now. You will never. I don't care if you ate like a monster.
Yeah, but
just so you know.
But we got to dig deeper because here's probably what's happening. You tell me if I'm wrong. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. But here's the fear. The fear is if I take my hands off of it, because this is you right now. I got my hands around it. If I take my hands around it, that person inside me that I'm controlling is going to go crazy and just eat everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen,
100%.
You can't be healthy treating yourself that way. It just doesn't work. You can't, let me put it to you this way. You can't tyrannize yourself to better health, which is what you're doing. That's what this is. If I don't put my hands around my neck of that person over there and just tell her what to do, the second I take it off, she's going to go crazy and eat whatever. So I got to do this all the time. That's stressful. That's stressful. That's not a healthy way to live. So, tracking, I'd have you stop. I'd have you get off tracking. Now, here's what you do. You eat whole foods and you hit
I do.
And you hit your protein and eat when you're hungry. With your training, I would cut the volume down and then take it from there and let yourself be scared. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you right now, what's going to happen is you're at some point, I don't know how long you'll stay. It depends on how stubborn you are, but you could be real stubborn and stay on this path a really long time. And at some point you're just going to jump off because it's going to be like, I don't want to do this anymore.
How long are you prepaid on your training sessions with your trainer? Like,
it's like every month, but I mean, I'm committed to working with him.
Yeah, she can keep that one.
She can, but the reason why I'm asking is this is something that we specialize in. Like, this is what our coaches and trainers, like, I'd say at least 60% of our clients are, they come to us for exactly what you're going through right now, and it's not because of a trainer can't tell you go do these exercises or follow this meal plan. It's the psychological part of like being able to communicate this part, because that's going to be the hardest part for you. Like, I can tell by your lifts, you're a disciplined person. You're not afraid of a lot of hard work. Like, that's not going to be it. It's going to be the community. It's the reason why Corinne has me. Corinne's more knowledgeable than I am, but it's me.
Sure.
It's for the conversation to hear it from somebody else.
Are you with the trainer 5 days a week, or no,
I work with him twice a week.
There you go. Okay, so here's what we could do. You could continue doing your strength training with your trainer, and then if you want, you can work with one of our coaches for nutrition. And then the conversation with your trainer is, hey, I want to scale down my strength training, and so it'll probably look like 2 days with your trainer, 1 day on your own, and then the rest of it you're just walking. And then take it from there, and then increase your calories. We got to get here's the bottom line is we got to get your basal metabolic rate to go up before you can cut. We can't cut from 2,200 calories.
And we also got to get your body optimal and healthy before it's going to risk it. If like the period, the bone density, those types of things are our bodies not optimal and healthy. And when they're not optimal and healthy, they won't respond body fat wise and building muscle. They will
fight in your body.
And so you've done a great job this far of getting this far in spite of that. But the next level to this, the next level that you want, we have to first really do that. And it's, like I said, it's the same conversation Corinne and I are having right now. And man, it breaks my heart because I know what it's like to get that test and go like, man, what the hell? We're doing all this work. We're on it, and it's like you know why? Because we still got to get healthy. We just are getting there, and we haven't got the results back from all the hard work we've been putting in. And so there's that period of time you'll have to go through with the increasing the calories, and just having somebody to kind of walk you through that. And then the other side of this, let me tell you, is sick. It's less work. It's the body. You're like, that's what I deserve. It's your period's regular. It's all
not stressful.
It's not stressful. It's better. You eat more. It's less work. Better physique. Yep. Everything's. It's on the other side of that, right? It really is that, yep. And so we just got to get there.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Do you want somebody to call you?
I'm so stressed.
Do you want somebody to call you from our team?
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, we'll do that. And I know it's disheartening because you're like, man, I thought I cut my training down. And I was overtraining before. Yeah,
and I honestly, like, the hardest thing for me is going to be not I love lifting weights. Like, I really like going to the gym and lifting weights. Like, it keeps my head on straight, honestly. So, like, that is going to be the hardest thing for me is going down even more. Like, even when I went from 7 to 5, I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah.
You'll like it. You'll like it more.
Yeah.
And you can still go to the gym.
That's right. Still go to the gym. With someone like you, I still actually want you to go to the gym. And then what it looks like is I'm like, hey, you're going to walk on the treadmill for 45 mintes. And then I'm going to have you do this like mobility routine for 20 minutes. And so you're still doing movement, and you're just not really hitting the weights intense for those 2 other days. Yeah. That way you're in your routine, you still in your vibe, whether you're a music person or whatever. So I don't want to rip that off of you and be like, hey, you can't even go to the gym. Like, no, I want you still going to the gym, do your thing. But we're just changing we need to pull back on, listen, your stress bucket's overfilled, and you've done really well by still getting results all the way there. But we've got to empty that out a little bit. For it to start responding the way it should respond to you. And during that process, it's a little bit of a comfortable phase, but on the other side of it, it's amazing. Yep. And you'll be happy.
Like it more.
You'll be so happy.
You'll get better performance in the days you lift as well. So you'll get to look forward to that.
Yeah. I'll have somebody call you.
All right, thank you. I really appreciate it. And Sal, I just wanted to let you know, I giggle every time we talk about your dad being in Italy and growing up with like a stick, because that was my experience with my parents in Portugal. Same thing. Like anytime I would complain about anything, they'd be like, "Oh, I feel so bad for you. What's it like growing up with electricity and running water?"
That's good stuff. That's a great.
I appreciate what you guys do.
You got it. Yes. Thanks, Kathy. Yeah, she'll be all right. I think she'll do okay. It's hard. I mean, when we ask the period question, that's a pretty strong indicator.
This is where I had a feeling. Well, I mean, God, this is top of mind for me because it just broke my heart yesterday to.
But she had to gain body fat.
And
sometimes you got to gain body fat.
I blame myself because I knew that, but then I mean I think she looks so awesome right now. We're hitting PRs, and I thought, damn,
she's so strong.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I want to show her how much muscle she's probably put on already, And then what could have happened that I knew I was very well aware of could happen, which is we just increased our body fat percentage, which but it healthier. And that's why the PRs were happening because she's getting healthier.
That's right.
But yet the
better neural drive.
Oh yeah. But the results we haven't been paid back yet for it. And so a better coach, a better job of me would have been to delay that even longer. I should have waited another 2 or 3 months.
Yep.
That way, when we did see results, it was like that time had passed. And so, and this is kind of where she's at. Hers is related to her period. And this is what happens is when you're off hormonally like that, you're working against your body. And there's a period of time you'll have to go through to get healthy first.
That's right.
Before it'll start to show you the results.
That's right. All right, I know you liked that episode. If you did, check this one out. 30% body fat. For men, this is way too high. This is actually a bit high for women as well. So in today's episode, we're talking about how you can go from 30 to 10. What is 10% body fat? This is when you have a visible six-pack. Can you go from 30 to 10%? Yes, it's possible, but not if you guess along the way. So we're going to talk about how you can do that in today's episode.
Now, there's a huge range, right, of like body types.
Yes.
Some people can run a little bit heavier or a little bit higher body.